I'm tired this morning. Chewing all that ice. Now, I mean, I couldn't sleep for more than an hour with having to run to the facilities. I mean, and remembering they have to measure everything that comes out of me. So I have these things that I use.
Mm-hmm.
Remembering that at 2 a.m. It's like, oh yeah, no, I
Right.
got to use that.
Right. Well, you throw the chemo on top of it. And yeah. You sure you're okay tomorrow?
Oh, tomorrow I'll be fine. I'm no more chemo till after the transplant. We'll see how I feel Monday, Tuesday. That's when the chemo is supposed to hit. I do more chemo next week, and my blood counts are going to go way down next week. That's when this week I'm going to be fine. Next week's going to be interesting. The next 2 weeks will be interesting.
I was going to say I actually wasn't counting on you for 2 weeks in my head.
We'll see though. I mean, my energy's been good. It's all about, again, it's just talking. It's just talking. And I have to be honest, this is of my days. This is the high point of the day right now.
I'm aware of that.
The boredom sets in at like 10, and then I mean, it's just, you're just isolated. It's amazing when I go to my house that just being able to walk outside and tend to the garden or walk to the mailbox or pick Maddie up, just all the little things that to break up the day.
To see the Mets fans on their walk.
Yeah, right. But so far, I've not been run down, but they said I wouldn't get run down from this chemo. So we'll see. I only have 2 more chemo, I guess, sessions. I think Monday and Tuesday of next week. Or I don't know. It's on the board. David, I don't know. But tomorrow night, or today's Thursday, right? Okay. Seems like it's March 5th. Tomorrow is the transplant at night. So how I feel, Saturday, Sunday into Monday will be interesting because they say my energy will go down because my blood counts will go down to nothing.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floormeister Studios. Floormeisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you on this first Thursday of February. We're over the hump. You can see the finish line from here. How's your week going? How the heck are you? Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Mark Miller broadcasting live once again from Moffitt Cancer Center. Planning on doing it tomorrow as well. Then the bone marrow transplant happens, and well, after that, everything is TBD. How are you?
I'm doing well. Long night last night. Up late. They administer all the chemo very late at night. So I don't finish until just before midnight. And anybody who's listened to the show knows I'm in bed long before that. And my teams took it on the chin last night.
Yes,
so I had to watch my Spartans play like a hot mess of garbage in the first half again. The Red Wings had an awful first period. So I was stuck watching the NBA by the end of the night because my teams were out of it. So I watched a lot of sports last night. Had to chew my ice. They have me stuff my face with ice for this second chemo treatment that I do so that I don't get mouth sores, and it's all for the good. But 70 minutes of chomping on ice is a long time, even for a guy that spent many a year in a hockey rink. That is a long time.
At any point in time during the 70 minutes, do you just start humming Ice, Ice, Baby in your head?
No, I should have. That would have been good.
I don't know about that.
That would have been good. I start like kind of laying in bed because I will say, like, you got to take the positives, right, David? One of them is the adjustable bed. I mean, getting that bed to sit up like that and watch TV is fantastic. But I start the ice with the adjustable bed up, And then about halfway through, I start getting cold and I get antsy. So I get up, I get the socks on, the wool socks on, I get the hoodie on, and I just kind of march in place while I chomp on ice for 30, 40 minutes. And then having to, because that ice melts and it's about 7 cups full, then you're dragging everything into the facility. It's a bit of a pain in the tuchus. That's all. But if I would have had Ice Baby to dance to,
right,
that might have helped. And I'm done with that portion of the chemo. So we've made it. That's a good thing. Start some more after the transplant on Friday. We'll see what that brings. But another day, this is the highlight of the day. I will say it. It's a little, it is a little isolated, to say the very least, in here. When your big portion of the day is the 11-lap walk, which constitutes a mile.
right.
I do 2 of those a day. And David, I try to talk to everybody. First I've got to wear the mask when I'm out there, so they can't see any facial expression. But if I get any eye contact, whether it's the housekeeping people, whether it's the nurses, whether it's the techs, the doctors don't look up. I don't bother with them. But if it's any of the other people, I try to get a smile, try to get a hello. I busted the one tech's, the other day, because it was towards the end of his shift. I'm like, counting the hours down, counting the minutes, aren't you? Is it that obvious? I'm like, it kind of looks it. But that's about as much as I get for conversation. So that's tough. But it's these 4 hours are a lot of fun. I look forward to it every morning. And the Olympics have started, David. The Olympics have started. And I woke up and I knew it was on, and I put Peacock on. And, I don't see Adam already in the chat room, but I'm just going to tell you, we've got a curling update. We have got a curling update.
If there's curling, all is well with the world.
We had a double dip today. We played 2. We had one this morning, and I think we've got another one around 8:30, 9 o'clock. I think 9:30. So I'll have curling updates to start the show. I'll have curling updates to end the show. Read my curling article yesterday to try to get who are the teams to beat.
Are we one of them?
No.
Man,
we are not.
Male or female, doesn't matter. No.
Male, we would probably have a better shot. Mixed doubles, perhaps, but the men. I mean, it's a crapshoot in this. But we did not finish in the top 4 in the worlds last year, and the guy who's been the skipper or the captain for the U.S. team forever is not on this team. So kind of a new guard in curling. I mean, maybe we could. Maybe we can believe in miracles, David. That's all I can look forward to with this curling team.
Look at you. Tell you what, though, the Olympics should help with the boredom.
Yes.
Going forward, because it's around the clock. You could always turn it on and have something. So, because the other thing you find out when you're holed up in the hospital is late morning, early afternoon television's terrible.
Right. But I've jumped into some shows. I just got Apple TV, so I've got a handful of shows I want to watch on that. I started into the morning show. It's all right.
EB wants to know, are you more the screamer or the sweeper?
Oh, come on. I'm the screamer. I think that's obvious.
Okay.
I think that's obvious. But the system was huge last night, David.
Oh, my goodness. The system went 4-0, and I think 3 of the 4 were straight up wins.
The Gophers beat my Spartans. Oklahoma State takes down BYU, and Portland.
And we're not talking the Trailblazers. We're talking 22.5-point underdogs. Wins straight up against the Zags.
And for all the bad beats we've been getting by a half point, how did we cover the Clemson-Stanford game, David?
Stanford was getting 3.5 at home. Clemson came from behind. They had a 4-point lead. Like 3 seconds to go, they inbound the ball at midcourt. Guy just catches it, puts his head down, and just makes a beeline for the basket and lays it up and in at the buzzer. And so your final is Clemson by 2, and Stanford's getting 3.5. Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
So a 4-0 night gets us back to 500. We had been struggling. We had not had a winning night in a while. We had a lot of, 1 and 2s, 2 and 3s. We've had a bad run for about a week and a half with some bad beats. but that gets us back to the Mendoza line. I've got us at 44-44 on the season now.
All right. All right. I will say how good the upper echelon is this year has hurt the system. Okay. The top 10 have been too good, to be honest with you. So they've been covering, and they've been covering some big numbers too, but that's all right. Portland got one back for us last night. 22.5-point underdog beating the Zags. I mean, whew, man.
Well, that's a big loss for the Zags because I don't believe they have any more, big non-conference games, and they had a lofty record. That's going to push them down, I would think, to probably the 3 line.
I think it may push them further.
Okay.
I think it could push them into a 4. When you think about it, that means your second round game's a 4-5 game potentially. There's not much difference. So you really don't want to fall below the 3 line.
And even if you get by that, the ones, right now we're looking at Duke, Michigan, UConn, Arizona.
Right.
Unless Illinois were to come up and win the rest of the Big Ten games, which I don't know, they could, but I don't think that's going to happen. But I think you look at Michigan, Michigan and Duke play one another. You mentioned it yesterday. UConn that's probably for Duke to get the one in the East. Michigan wants to get that one in Chicago. They'll send someone to Houston, and I think Zona will stay out west, obviously.
So heading not down the stretch, but we're first week of February. So there's basically a month. There's like 4.5 weeks of the major conference games, and you'll get a conference tournament week, and then it's showtime. So, and you really got about 3 or so weeks left in the smaller conferences.
Right.
Because usually first week of March is their conference tournament week. So Miller and Moulton on this Thursday. Keith Smith to talk the association. We'll get to the NBA, which is, man, tell you, they know how to do free agency and trade deadlines. They do.
And they had a good night on the court last night. A lot of good games last night.
They did.
Your team probably in the best one of the night, a little double OT winner for the Knicks against the Nuggets.
Talk a little NFL with Greg Auman. He covers the league, but he covers the Bucs specifically. We'll just talk a little football with Greg. And we'll do a little Super Bowl gambling. Dave Mason, Bet Online, to join us in the Diamond District bonus hour of the show, as we'll talk some of the prop bets and what have you. Lee Sterling, Pat Kerwin on the show tomorrow, by the way, as we do heat up our Super Bowl 60 coverage and talk. I do a few interviews on friends' shows around the country. They're complaining. They're like, yeah, nobody's interested in this Super Bowl. I'm like, does it matter? I mean, are you at 6:30 Sunday? Are they going to be doing and watching something else? I mean, you could not be into it, and then all of a sudden the game starts, and then what if the game's really good? You're all in. So, but I don't know.
I'm getting where they're coming from, though. I mean, just our poll question. We didn't have a ton of votes yesterday on 2 football questions. I don't sense, and again, I'm dealing with nurses. They're not huge football fans. I've got a Packer fan that comes and sees me every night, and a Bucks fan and a Saints fan, so they have no interest. But I even talked to, I talked to the text back and forth with one of the other radio stations in the building where Rick is, and just asked them, is the Big Bunny thing a deal with you guys? Because they're the pop music station. They're like, we don't play them. No one cares. Okay.
All righty then.
So, okay, I get it. But you're right, David. What the hell else are you going to watch 6:30 Sunday?
Yeah. I mean, I'm always amazed that the rating is what it is. I'm like, wait, people were watching other things? You mean to tell me 1/3 of the TVs were actually watching something else? Really? I mean, my Aunt Kathy, I'm telling you, it's the only person I know in the whole Western civilization doesn't watch the Super Bowl. Even my mother does. And my mother basically only watches football games that I'm working.
I dated someone once that didn't watch the Super Bowl.
Wow. Well, that had to be a deal breaker right there, right?
Pretty much. Pretty much. Although I do remember it was one Super Bowl that we were dating, and she basically went home and was going to sleep. I'm like, this is great. I get to watch the game by myself. Didn't really seem to bother me now that I look back upon it.
Miller and Moulton. There was news that came out of San Francisco yesterday. There's always news that comes out from around the league. NBA trade deadlines, 3 o'clock this afternoon. I think there's only one guy left to trade. It's just about everybody else been dealt. Well, two, I guess. There's two guys
Giannis and
left to
Morant,
trade.
right? I mean, is that
Yeah.
that's
Yep. Giannis and Morant. And it looks like if you're a team that starts with M, that you're involved in one or both. Miller and Moulton.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Get ready, Southwest Florida. The Southwest Florida Ag Expo is back. Now's the time to save big with the Mega Pass, your all-in-one ticket to the fun, one low price. Get your one-day admission and unlimited midway rides. Mega Passes available online through February 26th at swflagexpo.com. Don't wait. Grab yours. Get ready for roots, rides, and real fun. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
This is Miller and Moulton.
boy, Empire, you are on that. I don't even know. That little bit should have been a major penalty. Well, and first off, you can't blame the Department of Player Safety. Okay, the play happened last night. You got to slow your roll a little bit there. However, how that wasn't a major penalty, the fact that it's a damn Olympian that got hurt again. But, I mean, let's slow down on the Department of Player Personality just yet. I mean, the play happened last night. I do love your hatred for the Panthers, though, Empire. They blew that, though. 4-2 lead. You can't let that – you cannot let that go to overtime. I didn't watch much of the game. I did catch the highlight of that on Twitter, Empire. Watched a little bit of the, I guess, late second. But I was kind of going between my teams last night. DC, were you the one, and did you comment, and if I'm wrong, that you said your mom wants to watch the halftime because you're half Puerto Rican? Is that you? I thought that was a funny, and if it wasn't, I apologize. But I thought that was a funny comment, whoever said that. Do you listen to the lyrics, Mom? I thought that was hysterical. And I don't know if that was you. So if I mixed you up with someone, I apologize. It was you, Johnny Mac. Yeah, that was funny. That cracked me up. But I have to. It was funny. I was on TikTok, and people that I'm associated with, I can see all of theirs. Not that I follow, but I think people that I'm friends with on my phone, however it works. And I don't ever listen to them, but we're on the same podcast platform as Bubba the Love Sponge, the same guy who helps us out. And you guys see Jay Yandel in here. He's a big part of our behind the scenes stuff. And I thought his comments on it was, they're looking for, he made the comments that Goodell said everything wrong about Big Bunny, saying he's going to try to bring people together and all that, which is not the case. And he said, you can't bring anybody together anymore. And that's evident by the end of our show yesterday and what you guys were commenting about. But he said it's entertainment. I mean, if he would have just stuck with it's entertainment, that's correct. You may not like the entertainment, but it is. I actually thought he made a great comment. Just saying, David, when I go on TikTok, because Jay Yandel handles a lot of our behind the scenes stuff for G,
right?
And we're on that same podcast playground with Bubba the Love Sponge,
right? And
I happened to see a couple of clips of his yesterday when he very smartly didn't really bash Goodell, but he said Goodell is trying to say he's, Big Bunny is bringing people together. He says, we can't bring anybody. We don't bring anybody together anymore for anything. So stop that. If he would have just simply said it's entertainment. I mean, this guy's won all these Grammys. He's won all these awards. He is a terrific entertainer. It's not my style. I'm not saying that it is, but more downloads on Spotify than Taylor Swift, for crying out loud. Come on.
Right.
I mean, if he just stuck with it, this is entertainment. This is top level entertainment, and leaves it at that. I don't know what. I think that was I thought that was a very smart comment by him. See, that's you're doing the same thing by saying that, Stove Up. You're not.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now here's David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton. MillerandMoulton.com. Miller_Moulton on X on this Thursday, the first such one of February. Obviously, the big game is Sunday early evening. Lines remain the same, right? 4.5, 45.5. I don't think anything's really moving, going to change. Maybe there's a late push. Move it a half a point in either direction.
Doesn't seem like it, though. I mean, I know my buddy got it at 4 right when it opened, and it smidged a half point. He jumped Seattle. He jumped Seattle at 4.
You and I both thought it would get in the 5s. Okay, 5.5, but no, respect for the Patriots. And we'll see what happens. I will say, usually, Patriots involved in very good Super Bowls. Very entertaining. Think about it. How many blowout Super Bowls have the Patriots been in this century? Not the first two. They lost by 14 to the Packers and obviously got blown out by the 85 Bears. But, we've had a good run Super Bowl wise. Last year was the aberration. The Denver Seattle Super Bowl was the aberration. We've had really good games for a generation. It's been awesome. Because those of us of a certain age remember when we'd beg for one good game every 8 years.
No, I think it's why you and I love championship weekend the way that we do, because for a lot of our young life, it was championship weekend that, kind of determined who was going to win the Super Bowl in our eyes. For many years, it was the AFC, and then the long run when it was the Cowboys and Niners and some other teams in there. But yeah, I think that's why you and I I know you love divisional round as well, but championship weekend always had a special spot with me because those are some of the big games that I remember growing up.
So it appears as if Roger Craig has the votes. That's what some of the reporting has been. It's not been widespread, but there was reporting yesterday that Roger Craig's got the votes. He's getting in. Well, then I can't imagine anybody else is from that 5-person, committee there.
No, based on kind of how you broke down the votes and how that has to go, you're right. I will say, so it sounds like we went from widespread panic to just widespread voting. Okay.
Well played, sir. Well played. But so we'll say that the reporting is true, that Belichick and Kraft are out and Roger Craig is in. Roger Craig was Christian McCaffrey before Christian McCaffrey. Roger Craig, the first running back to have 1,000+ yards rushing and 1,000+ yards receiving in the same season. Roger Craig's skill set seemed perfect for the West Coast offense. And he was drafted by San Francisco, and nobody did it better than Bill Walsh. And obviously he played with 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks. And Roger Craig apparently has the votes and will get into the Hall of Fame. Mark, do you think of Roger Craig as a Hall of Famer?
That's a tough one for me.
No. Well, to me, if it's not a very quick yes.
No, see, no. Because you have to remember, David, when was Roger Craig's last year?
The very early 90s.
Okay. So I'm not even 22, 23 years old yet. Right. My life focus is alcohol, college, girls, the occasional bong hit, and then trying to work in the hockey world. I mean, that's where I am. I'm not locked in, and I'm not a monster NFL fan at this time in my life. I'm a much bigger Saturday fan. So when we get into the historical context of players from that era, even though it's not that long ago, I don't know if my opinion matters that much. I think he was a great player. It's hard for me to differentiate about those players and who's a Hall of Famer and who's not. Like, I don't think L.C. Greenwood is a Hall of Famer. I think, looking back, because I've done a little research on it, I think Ken Anderson should get in. I don't know if he's going to. You have said for the longest time out of those 3, and a lot of you that I respect your opinions have believed that the order would be Roger Craig, Ken Anderson, L.C. Greenwood out of the 3 players.
It would be for me.
So I'm fine with it. He played on great teams. If we reward a lot of the Steeler players from the 70s, Cowboy players from that era, then why not Roger Craig? I think he is part of the story of the game. I think he is deserving, but it is just difficult when I look at some of the current players who are not going to get in this year, and they play different positions than Roger Craig. But I just keep thinking more, David, that it bothers me that we're only going to put one of these veterans in out of 5, because out of the 15 finalists, we may only put, we only can put 5 in. And we may not. Last year, we only put 4 in, which was unbelievable to me. And I probably spend a little more time focusing on that than I do of the veteran players. But if he's in, great. Good for him. I'm fine with that.
If you're into numbers, 8,200 yards rushing, 5,000 just under yards receiving. So he was responsible for over 13,000 yards rushing and receiving. He was responsible for 73 touchdowns, 56 of them rushing. He had not 1 but 2 seasons in which he accounted for more than 2,000 yards of offense. He had the 1 year where he did it 1,000+ yards rushing and 1,000+ yards receiving. He did it another year in which he had 1,500 yards rushing, and then he had over 500 yards receiving. He had 3 seasons where he was targeted over 100 times. He had 92 catches in a season. He had 1,500 yards rushing in a season. So played 11 years in the league, Mark. I would say 7 of them were elite.
Like, to compare him, and I don't know if you can do this, David, who's a more worthy Hall of Famer? Gore, Roger Craig. And I know they're on different ballots, if you know what I mean.
Right.
But
I think Roger Craig's ceiling was higher than Frank Gore's. Okay. Frank Gore's career was much longer and much more consistent and better. I would have put Gore in before Craig. Okay. But the one thing I think Roger Craig does do, Edgerrin getting in, I think helps Fred Taylor. I think Roger Craig getting in helps Fred Taylor. Okay, I do think, some of these guys getting in. I also think Roger Craig getting in is going to all of a sudden in the next 2-3 years make Ricky Waters a finalist for the Hall of Fame, because I think people are going to go back and look and go, he basically was Roger Craig. I mean, he literally followed him at San Francisco. I mean, they went from Roger Craig to Ricky Waters. He did the exact same things.
And I don't know necessarily if that's a good thing. I don't think it's a bad thing, David. But we don't want watered down Hall of Fames.
Right. And there are some people that believe this waters it down, that he's in the Hall of the very, very good. Okay. With 3 to 5 great years. But his career, they would say, if you have to be an 8.5 or above to be a Hall of Famer on a scale of 1 to 10, I think a lot of people think Roger Craig's an 8.
And I think that could be accurate. And that really is the ultimate question. Does this water it down or does this enhance it? And part of the veterans going in, I think everybody would argue, could water it down, because if they didn't get in their time allotted,
right,
what changed after their time was up? Miller and Moulton, the starting 5 on the other side. Big action and curling will catch you up on everything else.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you can be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Hey, football fans, Jimmy the Beef Guy here. This is coming up fast. Wait, did you just beat me? I mean, I can't say whatever. So, guys, if you're having a football party, don't wait till last minute. Remember, guys, our beef packages come with the beef, the gravy, the bread, the peppers. All you have to do is heat and serve. So call me now or stop in one of our 2 locations in Bonita Springs or Fort Myers. And again, guys, please don't wait till last minute, man. Put your orders in now.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
This
sound.
is Miller and Moulton.
I got to admit, when I go to the show in the studio, I match. I try to wear clothes that match. When I'm at home, I'm essentially the mobster walking around with his pajamas on. And these nurses got to walk in here and think that I am the biggest slob in the world. There is no, I was just saying, David, when I go to the show in the morning, I match. Because I wear a golf outfit basically every day. So at least I look decent if I'm walking around there. I'm the mobster walking the streets at home. Colors don't go together, and I don't care. These nurses have got to think that I am just a jumbled mess when I look at the crap that I'm wearing around here, because I do not care. I just grab what's on the top of the pile. If it goes together, great. If it doesn't, I'm kind of okay with that. Exactly, Jay. If the jammies fit, you must have quit.
Sonny, Chuck Foreman was Roger Craig before Roger Craig, and I just don't think he did it as long. Chuck Foreman was a trucker after his playing days. He called into my show in Fargo. He was driving across the upper Midwest.
He's not a Ring of Honor guy there, or is he, in Minnesota? He would be really close. Is he?
No,
I mean, he's really close if he's not, right?
I'm pretty sure he was. Yeah, 3 of their 4 Super Bowl appearances, he was their main offensive weapon. Yeah. But it's funny, we were discussing Chuck Foreman's Hall of Fame credentials, and Chuck Foreman called in. Said, yeah, this is Chuck from, I forget where he said he was from. Like 2 minutes in, I'm like, this isn't by chance Chuck Foreman, is it? He starts laughing. I said, how are we doing with your Hall of Fame candidacy? He said, you guys can do my presentation anytime. No, he wasn't, Sonny. No. No way. He was. He's going west on I-94.
Might be ordering breakfast a little early this morning. I'm hungry.
Oh, there you go.
Did the pot roast last night. Not bad. Working through the menu of seeing what I like.
Better than the meatloaf?
Better than the meatloaf. It was better than the I must say, the brisket 2 nights ago was good. They have a special every week, and the brisket was not bad.
Huh. Wow. Never would have thought that.
It was not bad. I was fine with it. Collards were okay. The ice cream's really the killer, though. I got to figure out if I have to, or I don't want to be that guy where I order my dinner and then order the ice cream 30 minutes later so it's cold when it gets here.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. There's a whole lot that went on in the sports world yesterday. The Olympics with curling are underway today, so we have to go live to our Olympic correspondent, Mark Miller, for an update at some point. But right now it is time for
The Starting Five. 5 big stories you need to know. Here is The Starting Five.
Brought to you by Lee County, Florida. Building a better community through BST. business, sports, and tourism. As we were talking about, various reports say that Roger Craig will be inducted into the Hall of Fame. We find out officially tonight who's in and who's out at the NFL honors. Eagles offensive line coach Jeff Stoutland resigns after 13 years. This a biggie. And now the Eagles are frightened that Vic Fangio is going to follow him out the door. Look out. Apparently, the new offensive coordinator that Nick Sirianni signed wants to do things a little differently and wants to change up the blocking scheme. And Stoutland's like, no, it's okay. I'm good. I do it a certain way. We've had a decent level of success. I'll just take a year off or I'll pick somewhere else. That's okay. I'm good. Thanks. Appreciate it. Jets named Frank Reich as their offensive coordinator. All right. Read between the lines. Couldn't get a young guy up and coming. Why? Because folks in the industry don't think he's going to be around that long. Frank Reich didn't have a job. He finished last year as the interim coach at Stanford. This gets Frank back in the league, probably his last job in the league.
And what quarterback do they get with him is the question. You know, I mean,
Right.
Frank Reich worked with, oh gosh, now I'm just drawing a blank. Eagles, North Dakota.
Carson Wentz.
Thank you very much. I am sorry. That's the brain not working this
It's
morning.
okay.
But does Carson Wentz get a shot there? You know, who does he try to go to? Carson Wentz only played a few games for him, but didn't do much. But, you know, to me, the next question is what quarterback does this then lead to the Jets? Because they're not getting anybody good there either, David.
Cardinals hired Nathaniel Hackett to be their offensive coordinator. He had just accepted the job to be the Dolphins quarterback coach. And then this opened up and it's a promotion. So he's got it. Steelers hire Vikings passing game coordinator Brian Angelicchio to be their offensive coordinator. No word yet. Is he going to call the plays or is McCarthy going to do so? McCarthy has historically called all his own plays. The Giants hired Dawn Aponte as Senior Vice President of Football Operations. She's worked for the NFL for the last 8 years. Before that, she worked for the Dolphins, the Browns, and the Jets. This is my only experience with Dawn Aponte. It was the night that Damar Hamlin nearly died. She was amazing. The NFL offices were in chaos. She was representing the NFL at the game. The NFL wanted to continue playing. Dawn had spoken to both head coaches, and Dawn told Park Avenue, we're not playing football tonight. She was amazing. Have no idea if she'll be able to do the job that she's just hired for, but I can tell you on a crucial night, she was awesome. The league was a mess, and she made the league look good. College football, Luke Fickell, who, well, let's just say he hasn't done well at Wisconsin, but he had one of those rollover contracts every year, rolls over. And so he still has, like 6-7 years on his contract every year. Yeah, Luke went to Wisconsin and said, listen, I'm not doing well enough to give me a rollover year. Don't give me the rollover year. It's a bad look. I don't deserve it. Now, don't get me wrong. He's still under contract for 6 more years, but, at least he knows, hey, I haven't done the job. Tennessee quarterback Joey Aguilar granted a temporary restraining order in his battle versus the NCAA as he seeks an extra year of eligibility. He's got.
How many will that
more
be,
days.
David? How many will that be?
Mark, thanks for asking, actually, because he started at a junior college in 2019.
2019, right.
He redshirted that year athletically. Then 2020 is a COVID year, so that doesn't count. Then he was at a JUCO for 2 years, and he was at App State for 2 years, and last year he was at Tennessee.
David, just another quick question on this. I know you got a lot to get to, but this fascinates me because in all those 5 years that he played and the one that he didn't because of COVID, did he miss any of that time because of an injury? The answer is no. The answer is no,
Mark.
David.
Right, no. And he's hoping to essentially get an 8th year of eligibility.
Correct.
That's okay. There's some guy with the Canes who's already gotten an 8th year of eligibility.
He's at least had an injury in there, though. But yes,
True.
you are right.
Our system went 4-0 in college hoop last night. But 8th-ranked Houston at home, not part of the system, and they destroyed UCF 79-55. But Minnesota upset Michigan State. Oklahoma State upset BYU. Portland upset Gonzaga. Wow. Clemson survived Stanford, but they didn't cover. Louisville beat Notre Dame by 11, and Illinois beat Northwestern by 40. Hello. NBA. Pay attention. We had 4 major trades yesterday. Dallas trades Anthony Davis to the Wizards in an 8-player deal, and they also get 2 first-round picks. Bulls send Colby White and Mike Conley, off for Colin Sexton and 3 second-round picks. Sixers trade Jaron McCain to OKC. OKC actually gives up a first-rounder and 3 second-rounders in the deal. Utah, Cleveland, Atlanta put a deal together where Lonzo Ball goes to Utah. The Jazz have already announced they're going to waive him. So basically everybody clearing cap space. Clippers, Nets, and Raptors make a deal where Chris Paul goes to Toronto. And Toronto's already said to Chris Paul, no need to get on a plane. You're not going to play here. We'll figure out where we're sending you tomorrow. Knicks beat the Nuggets in double overtime, 134-127 for their 8th straight win. Derek White with 28. Celtics beat Houston in Houston by 21. T-Wolves have won 5 of 6, and they're the leaders in the Giannis sweepstakes. They beat Toronto in Toronto, 128-126. The Spurs are 4-1 against the Thunder. They beat them again last night, 116-106. Cavs, neither Harden nor Garland played. Cleveland beat the Clippers by 35. So the Clippers were on this huge 16-3 run. Harden says, I want out. They're 0-2 since. Memphis hands Sacramento their 10th straight loss, 129-125. Sacramento, worst team in the league. And Milwaukee in overtime, 141-137 over New Orleans. NHL. I could argue the biggest story comes out of college hockey. Gavin
I don't think there's
McKenna.
any doubt, David. Don't think there's any doubt.
Well, there were 10 games and a major trade, and yet I think the biggest story is Gavin McKenna, who certainly the number 1 recruit who's going to come out of college hockey, maybe the first overall pick of the draft. Penn State paid between $750,000 and $1 million to get his services for 1 year this year at Penn State. So they had that outdoor game showdown over the weekend against Michigan State. Both teams were in the top 5 at the time. Spartans won in overtime. After the game, McKenna is out with his mom. Apparently, somebody nearby is heckling the heck out of his mom. Called her a whore. McKenna got up and decked the kid. Broke his jaw. Sent him to the hospital. He's got a concussion, a broken jaw, and other things wrong with him. Well, needless to say, that's felony aggravated assault, and so he's been arrested and charged.
Key word there, everyone, is felony.
Right. So what's it going to do to him if you're a team? Are you not going to take him? Okay, behind closed doors, does the stock go up because he, defended the honor of his mom? Hey, this is hockey. I'm just bringing it up. It's a different sport. But will they stay away from him? How much money is this going to cost him if he drops precipitously in the upcoming draft? Gavin McKenna charged with felony aggravated assault. Must win for the Panthers. They blew a 2-goal lead in the third. They at least escaped with a 5-4 shootout win. Marchant, the game winner in the shootout. Minnesota.
Big dirty hit in that game where the Boston defenseman that didn't play in the McAvoy there got hurt. He got popped with an elbow in the face. No penalty was called. Should have been a major. Panthers get away with murder out there. They do.
I'll tell you, the league hates the Panthers. And I don't mean the league offices. I mean the rest of the league. The rest of the league believes the Panthers are allowed to play differently than any other team in the league.
And last night it was on full display.
Minnesota beat Nashville 6-5 in overtime despite a goal and 2 assists from Stammer. Colorado 4-2 over San Jose. Utah 4-1 over your Wings. Seattle doubled up the Kings 4-2, but they acquired Artemi Panarin, did the Kings, from the Rangers for a high-level prospect and 2 mid-level draft picks. Vegas 5-2 over Vancouver to stop a skid. Dallas has won 6 in a row. They beat St. Louis 5-4. Montreal 5-1 over Winnipeg. Columbus has won 7 in a row and 11 of 12.
Break them up.
4-0 over the Blackhawks, and Calgary wins the season series from Edmonton. Oilers are scuffling, only in the playoffs by like 2 points. 4-3 Calgary. Okay. By the way, there was a trade overnight in the NBA. I put it at a different spot on my page, so I didn't see it because I ran out of room. Golden State finally gets rid of Jonathan Kuminga, and they also trade Buddy Hield to Atlanta for Porzingis. First off, Porzingis only played 17 games this year. The only good thing about Porzingis is a $31 million expiring contract. So the Warriors may have some flexibility after this year to do something. Baseball. Tigers signed 32-year-old lefty Framber Valdez. 3 years, $115 million. 38 and change a year. Short-term deal, 3 years, when he's 32, 33, 34. He's a number one starter on half the teams in the league. He'd be a number two starter on every team in the league. All right? And he's going to be their number 2 this year because they got this guy you may have heard of called Skubal. So now if you're the Tigers, what do? You trading Skubal before the season opener? You going to keep the two of them together, see how you're doing, wait till the deadline? Or do you just say, you know what? We haven't won a World Series since 1984. We're keeping them both, and Skubal's going to leave. We're not going to get much for him, but you know what? We're trying to win the damn World Series, and when he leaves, we got Valdez for the next 2 years.
I think it's C. I really do.
I actually think the fan base can respect the hell out of that.
Totally. They know they're going to lose Skubal. They're way far apart. Boris is the agent. No one thinks he's playing in Detroit next year. But if they go for it and win it, obviously – great move.
And finally in baseball, Mickey Lolich passed away at the age of 85, best remembered for his heroic 1968 World Series. He won Game 5 on 3 days rest and Game 7 on 2 days rest, handing Bob Gibson the only playoff loss of his legendary career. And Lolich did a lot more than that. He won 220 games in his career. He finished top 3 in the Cy Young 3 times. He had over 2,800 strikeouts. There aren't 5 lefty pitchers in the history of baseball who have struck out more batters than Mickey Lolich. Is he a Hall of Famer? I don't think so. Okay, but let me tell you, he is a lot closer. You take Lolich and compare him to Don Drysdale. You take Lolich and compare him to Louis Tiant. Mickey Lolich is a lot closer to Cooperstown than he was ever seriously considered for.
He played in 5 playoff games and went 3-1. He had 5 complete games. I don't know how he had 4 complete games, but lost one in the 72 series, won all 3 in the postseason in 68.
By the way, in 1971, he won 25 games. He had another year when he won 22. Mickey Lolich was 85. And at 8 minutes before the hour, that was the starting 5. 5 big stories you need to know, brought to you by Lee County, Florida. Building a better community through BST, the proven method of business, sports, and tourism.
And it wouldn't be complete with a starting 5 with a little update from Italy.
Dun, 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 dun.
Thank you, David. Appreciate that. The U.S. fell down 3 spit early to Norway in mixed doubles curling, but 2 in the 7th, and then 2 in the 8th, where Norway gave it away. They had the hammer. They didn't use it, and the U.S. steals points in the final inning. They win 8-6 to win their first, or end, not inning. They're in the 8th end. They win 8-6 to win their first match in the mixed doubles curling. We will update you on curling throughout the Olympics because it might be the only sport other than hockey that I really give a damn about in these games.
Dun 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 dun.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
At
sound.
the Diamond District, we've built our inventory since day one.
We never pass on beautiful jewelry. For years, we've chosen exceptional diamonds and fine jewelry.
And when you buy with love for 2 decades,
Your vault fills with extraordinary jewelry. That's why we're emptying the vault now through Valentine's Day. Enjoy rare pricing on jewelry chosen to celebrate love, connection, and commitment.
will you be mine? Starts with diamonds from the Diamond District. Hablamos Español.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Got a cracked window or foggy glass? Don't wait for the next storm to make it worse. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business is just down the road and ready to help. From leaky frames to shattered panes, we've got the tools and the know-how to get your home or business storm ready. With flexible scheduling and our done right promise, you'll be in good hands. So before or after the weather hits, call your neighbors at Glass Doctor.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor. We fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Today is National Fart Day.
Alrighty then.
And National Weatherman's Day. I think that's not a coincidence. I know you're not on Facebook, but I think I told you this. Scion, right after, we're friends on there, right after the first of the year, he puts up his New Year's resolution to gain weight and start smoking.
It's outstanding.
It is really good. Who did Pat like for Pavia?
Baltimore.
Baltimore. Thank you, Feeney. Feeney, I reached out again yesterday to your marketing person there. I've sent 2 emails to her, and I've not heard anything for what it's worth. I thank you for your help. I am not at all chastising you. I am just updating you. And I do have the executive leadership page for Moffat up on my computer right now because I'm planning on sending the vice president of marketing an email at some point today. Exactly, Axe. He got crunched too. I mean, that was a dirty hit. And how that's not a, I mean, you know, the Chicklets guys were all like, that's 5. That's an elbowing major. Now, I don't know if it was an elbowing major. It was an elbow to the head. If you are not going to call a mid-ice, throw your elbow back at a guy's face a major, I'm not sure what a major is anymore for that penalty in today's game. It's also National Chocolate Fondue Day. I didn't know people still did fondue, but I do love me a chocolate fondue. Nothing like fruit dipped in chocolate. No, I wasn't a Detroit guy. I laughed. I was watching. They had some stuff on. They did a great feature in between periods last night on Lolich. It was spectacular about them all going to get milkshakes after the game. I thought that was hysterical. But that's a guy's guy right there. He made your all fat team when we did that show, didn't he, David?
Totally.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Hour 2 of Miller and Moulton on this Thursday. Keith Smith to talk the association in about 35 minutes. There have been 10 noteworthy trades in the NBA in the last 24 to 36 hours. 10, and yet Giannis and Ja Morant are still on the board. Morant apparently close to a giveaway. The word, Mark, is that the Heat are going to get one of these guys. They're in on Giannis. That the word last night was the Heat have a deal with Morant worked out with Memphis. But they've said to Memphis, can you hold on until we find out if we're getting Giannis? And apparently Memphis doesn't have a whole lot of people banging down their door for Ja Morant.
All right, let's talk about this, and let's try to take. I mean, it's hard for me to do a Giannis trade with a lot of teams because I don't like the packages. Particularly with the Heat. I would love Giannis in Miami. It makes sense in a ton of different ways. Miami is a big game hunter. They have always been able to attract top free agent talent. We know that. You know, from getting Shaq to getting LeBron. This is a team that can go out and get the big fish. So it makes perfect sense. However, how can you do this if you're the Bucks? What is it that they're giving back? Tyler Hero? Okay. 3 draft picks that are, I think, 29, 31, and 33. That I can't sell that to my fan base, David. I can't.
Well, no, because also I think if you wait 4 or 5 months, you'll get better offers elsewhere. The question is, you know, Giannis then gets even more control because he's entering the final year of his contract. And basically, if you're one of those teams somebody's going to have to be willing to pull a Toronto, Mark. Remember when the Raptors said to the Spurs, we'll give you what you want for Kawhi, and we'll take our chances in re-signing him. We think he'll love it here. And they paid a pretty significant price, but Kawhi delivered him a title in 2019, and then Kawhi left. And do you know what the fans in Toronto said? Hey, you delivered us the title. All right, we'll always love you. We wish you the best. We understand. Okay, now, would they have felt that way if they had gotten close and not gotten it, I don't know. They had never been to the finals before. Maybe just getting the finals would have been enough for the fan base. But Mark, to me, if you're heading into next year and you're one of those teams that can make the best offer to Milwaukee, but are you willing to make that offer for 1 year of Giannis?
Right. And like Golden State has a pretty good offer out there. I mean, there are a bunch of draft picks. Draymond Green's being talked about being thrown in it. But if you're Golden State, without Jimmy Butler, with him gone for the year, can Golden State with Steph and Giannis win a title? I don't think so.
Well, I don't think so either. But what happened was that late last night and actually overnight, Golden State got the word that the Giannis thing wasn't going to happen. And so that's why
they shifted to Porzingis.
Right. They packaged Kuminga and Buddy Hield to Atlanta for Porzingis. And, we'll see what they have to offer in the offseason. But I'm just curious out there. Like, to me, first off, the Knicks are not in play now. I don't believe. They don't have enough to offer. The Knicks will have 2 extra first-round picks to offer in 5 months. Well, that makes them more. And the Knicks know there's a very good chance he'd resign. So I think the Knicks would give Milwaukee in the offseason whatever they asked for, because he's not going to be a 1-year rental. But name me the team. I mean, next year's Donovan Mitchell's last year. If you're Cleveland, would you basically go all in for a year and then probably not contend for a title for the first half of the, into the first half of the 2030s? Name me the other team. Name me a team out west who needs to get by Golden State. Would the Clippers, with, the oldest team in the league, by the way, would they go all in for 1 year of Giannis with Kawhi and go for it? I mean, I'm just curious. Name me a team that you think a year from now would be like, if I'm Philadelphia, I don't know how long, Embiid's going to stay healthy. I'd roll the dice for a year of Giannis. I've won a title since what? 82, 83. I've won a title since 83.
I like that. What about Rick's team? What about the T-Wolves? They tried to free. It doesn't seem like that's a possibility, but.
Well, I think it's a possibility now.
Right. If they get him now, can they play with OKC?
Oh, I think so.
I do too.
I mean, with Anthony Edwards. And the word is that Giannis doesn't want to go somewhere where it's Giannis and the Chipmunks, if you know what I mean, where he's the alpha and he doesn't have a ton around him. Giannis wants to go somewhere where the second best player is in the ballpark with me.
Right. He wants a Robin. He wants a Robin. Yes.
Yeah. And how can you do better than Minnesota? How could you, for 2 runs at it, by the way, even if he doesn't stay, for 2 runs at it with AE, if Giannis is 31, I mean, Giannis can still play. Hasn't been healthy this year, I know. I have a feeling he'll get healthier as soon as the trade goes down, by the way. But anyway, just wondering, which teams out there are you, A, willing to push as much as you can in to get 1.5 years of them, but then who's going to be willing? If you're Milwaukee, you've got to figure out. Apparently, Minnesota can put the best package together right now. Don't you have to decide, is this package going to be better than what I get in July?
And I do think the point you make about the Knicks, because one, that's where he wants to go. I mean, he's made it pretty apparent that he would love to go to New York. They would love to have him. And if the Knicks don't make a deep run this year, the offers will be better. Well, I mean, they just will.
Forget deep run. If the Knicks don't make the finals, the Knicks will make the Giannis trade. I really believe that.
Okay, fair enough.
I believe that if Milwaukee passes by 3:00 today and we get to the first week of July and the Knicks didn't make the NBA finals, the Knicks will say to Milwaukee, what does it take?
By the way, just off of that trade into one other, and I know we there's some people that like, and it's a small minority that like our NBA talk. Most of you have your eyes glazed over, but trade talk is fun. Can we just take a moment and look at what the last year has been like for Anthony Davis?
Wasn't it a year ago yesterday or a year ago Tuesday?
Couple days ago,
right,
yeah.
Tuesday. It was a year ago Tuesday he got traded for Luka.
Right. So he went from the Lakers, a premier franchise in the league, one of the two. They are. I mean,
Yeah,
not
absolutely.
currently, but come on. It's the Lakers and the Celtics. We all know this.
Yep.
And he went to Dallas. Dallas is in the next tier, though, of good franchises. They've won titles. They've always competed. They've had an ownership group. Now, we don't know how good this ownership group is, but with Mark Cuban, they always tried to put a very competitive team on the court. And you thought of them as a good, above average NBA franchise. David, where did he get traded to yesterday?
Mark, would be the Washington Wizards.
Is that the same equivalent as our poll question yesterday when I asked which team would surprise you the most to make the Super Bowl in the next 10 years? And we listed the Browns, the Jets, the Raiders, and the Titans. David, if we were in an NBA market where people cared about the entirety of the league, and you put 4 teams up in the next 10 years to win the NBA Finals, wouldn't the Wizards be on that list?
Absolutely. Wouldn't be a legitimate poll question if they weren't included. I actually think the better poll question, whose future are you more bullish on, the Washington Wizards or the Washington Post sports department?
Ouch. Ouch. So, I mean, you got to, these guys make a ton of money, and I get all of that. But Anthony Davis went from the Lakers to the Mavericks to the Wizards in 367 days.
Hello. Yes. Yes, he did. By the way, I know nobody cares, but the Wizards GM's done an amazing job the last 2 years, trading out expiring contracts for useful players. And seriously, I mean, he's actually put 3 decent young players on the same roster. They're still at least a year away, but he's done an amazing job. Even though they're going to have another top 5 pick, he's done an amazing job. So anyway, Keith Smith to join us in a little less than half an hour to talk all things association. Can I go back to one of my favorites?
Okay,
Football.
what Hall of Fame are we going to talk about?
That'd be football, Mark. So remember I said, that Roger Craig is going to get Ricky Waters into the Hall of Fame?
Yes.
So I looked it up. Roger Craig had 3,000-yard seasons, and he rushed for about 8,200 yards. All right. And he rushed for 60 touchdowns. Ricky Waters had 7,000-yard seasons, 7 much more than 3. 10,600 yards rushing, about 2,500 yards more rushing than Roger Craig. And he had 78 touchdowns rushing, more than Roger Craig. Now, was Craig used more as a receiver? Yeah, okay. I mean, he caught 500-something passes. Ricky Waters caught 467. Roger Craig caught passes for 4,900 yards. Yeah, Ricky Waters caught them for 4,200. And throw 13 receiving touchdowns on 78 rushing touchdowns. And in 10 seasons, Ricky Waters scored 91 touchdowns. And oh, by the way, played on a Super Bowl champion, the 94 Niners, one of the 10 best teams of all time. I'm telling you, if Roger Craig's a Hall of Famer, it may take 10 years, goodness knows, with the way these guys are incompetent. But I'm telling you, you put the two on a board, and you may not have thought it when you watched them played. Ricky Waters, the better player.
David, on that note, Pelican Roofing of Florida text line, which is 21,000. If you've not texted the show, Miller's the keyword to 21,000. Then you can take shots at me like this person did when talking about the Hall of Fame, and I gave a diplomatic answer. He said, Mark, sounds cowardly. Just say it. You don't think he's a Hall of Famer. Of the 5, only Belichick should go. Kraft gets credit for stepping in poop and finding pearls. I said, fine, if you think that, not cowardly, just not from a time I'm really sure of. He goes, you're too smart for that. Coward is a strong word. Diplomatic, I count on the two of you to call it like it is. Don't play politician. He was a good player, maybe great, first to do something, but not Hall of Fame worthy. Point taken, sir. Point taken.
And
David tried to push me to say that I said no by my hesitation.
Yes.
And that has kind of been our rule. When we do this and he asks, if I don't say yes immediately, then he's always been of the opinion I don't think it.
Yeah.
And I didn't step up to that. So You want to go cowardly? It's fine. That's fine.
I just think with the Hall of Fame, it's not something you should have to talk yourself into. Even though sometimes you're wrong, and you looked up Ken Anders, said, upon further review, I think he's a Hall of Famer.
Let's talk the big differences between Floormeisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floormeisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floormeisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floormeister's prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floormeisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Oh, The Celtics wouldn't re-sign him, Sonny. They're not into spending money now. Everything they've said is that they're not interested in being up in the upper tier of the tax. So while it would be a great match, there's nothing that indicates that that's a move they would make. I mean, they're breaking things up, not adding to it. So.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Keith Smith, talk a little association. Trade deadline is in less than 8 hours. Giannis and John Morant still out there. There's been 10 significant deals in the last 36 hours. Keith Smith to join us in about 15 minutes' time. Greg Auman at the top of the hour, talk a little football. He covers the Bucks day in, day out, covers the league on a whole. Talk a little football with Greg at the top of the hour. Talk a little betting on the Super Bowl, some of the prop bets and what have you. Dave Mason from Bet Online will join us again. He joined us last year for the game. He'll join us again this year on Miller and Moulton.
Hey, I know I don't want to spend a lot of time on it, but I thought it was a great line. You mentioned it yesterday in the starting five. You and I have covered the Live Tour probably more extensively than any other show that's not on PGA radio on Sirius in the country. Maybe Whit Watson with his show Saturday mornings in Orlando and Jacksonville.
I actually don't even think PGA Tour radio has talked.
You know what? You're right.
Tour as much as us. Okay, there are very few places. Very few places. Maybe livgolf.com is maybe the only place in the country that has discussed the LIV Tour more than us.
But Bob Herrick, who's been a great friend of the show for many years and does a tremendous job covering the sport of golf, had an article yesterday that I thought had an incredible line in it that I wanted to share because those that golf, I think, will get it. But they finally were able to get world golf rankings.
Yes.
And it's a big deal for Live Golf, but they didn't get anything close to what they really wanted.
No, only top 10 players each week earn points, and they earn points at the equivalent of a reduced PGA Tour field. So they're not earning the same number of points, and only 10 of their golfers each week out of 50 plus are going to earn points.
Correct. And his line in the article was putting this in golfers' terms. LIV was hoping for Pro V1 golf balls. Instead, it got a box of pinnacles. And for those that don't golf, you don't get it. I understand. I didn't want to spend a lot of time on it. But when there's a great line out there, particularly by someone who's been very good to us for almost the longevity of our show, I wanted to share. Because Bob's a good writer. He covers the sport very well. He is very honest, which is why he covers the sport very well. And I thought that hit the nail right on the head. I mean, come on. We've all, whether it's at your Muni, whether you're at a country club and you spray a ball and you go look for it, or there's one in the water. Ooh, there's my Pro V. And you pull it out and it's a pinnacle and it's blank. because that's the lowest of the low right there. And I just thought that was rock solid. So good on you, Bob.
That was my ball back in the day.
I played them a long. I remember when they came out. I played a Pinnacle. Yeah,
that was my ball. Switched from
because you couldn't cut them. Right, the Titleist would cut. The Pinnacle didn't cut, David.
Exactly.
And that's a big deal when you're paying for your own golf balls and you're a teenager. If you don't have to put a slice in that Bellata Titleist, give me the ball that doesn't cut.
Right. You and I were both looping at the time. So, didn't want to have to spend too much money on balls. In fact, we were hanging around places in which there was a chance to get a free sleeve here and there. So last thing we want to do is pay for golf balls. You're right. I'd buy that dozen Pinnacle. It'd last me half a golf season.
Damn right. Damn right. Not a lot of water on the muties I played, David. Plus, if I had to, over into Swan Creek there. Yes, I said Swan Creek. I would go wade for golf balls in the creek off the 8th tee and get my golf balls that way and then sell them on the 6th tee back to the guys that lost them the week before.
Mark, my home high school course had no water. It was a 9-holer. Okay. It did not have a drop of water on it. Okay. It was impossible for me to lose a ball. I mean, I guess on the 3rd, I could have sliced it over the trees onto the roadway, right side of 4. I think I could have put it in the neighborhood, I guess. But it was a huge fairway. I mean, you missed that fairway. It's like missing St. Andrews. It was so wide. Mark, I don't know if I could lose a golf ball.
I was lucky. I was lucky because we actually played at the country club for my sophomore and junior years. There was a little bit of water. It was more out of bounds 3, out of bounds 6 if you sprayed one. But no, you didn't, and there was a lot of trees, but you could, with big trees, it's not like the brush in a Florida course off the fairway when it's thick brush and you can't get anything in there. It's gone. If it's a lot of trees, the odds are you're going to find that ball.
Right. Hey, quick question. We mentioned it during the starting 5. This Gavin McKenna story. Probably the top prospect in college golf. I don't think there's any probably to it. Strong candidate to be the number 1 overall pick. Penn State's paying him between $750,000 and $1 million this year for 1 year of college hockey.
Right.
He is out eating with his mom after the game over the weekend. Some hecklers getting after his mom pretty good. Reportedly called her a whore. He gets up, turns around, breaks the guy's jaw, sends him to the hospital. Now, listen, whatever happens with the legal system happens with the legal system. I'm expecting reduced charges and a check. Okay. But does that affect you drafting this kid at all? I mean, you're going to have to, he's going to go in the top.
Is it affecting me, David?
Yes.
No, I'm taking him first overall. I'm putting the jersey on his back and I'm talking about his character and how much he loves his family. Okay. You want my answer?
Yes.
I think there are a lot of people. I think there are a lot of people on this earth that desperately need to be punched in the jaw. And there are many times that I have been one of those people who deserves to get punched in the jaw. I have been many times when I was that age. I had my head used as a piñata outside of Rick's American Cafe by a guy I thought I should have been able to be tougher than. I wasn't. Bled all over the place. Deserved it. I was an idiot. When you're an idiot, sometimes you deserve to be punched. We live in a society where you can't do that anymore.
So
he's going to get in trouble. How hard will the police and the prosecutors be of reducing the charges from felony assault to misdemeanor? That's obviously key here.
Well, it's obviously going to depend on how sizable a check he's willing to write. And also the family's going to have to agree to not file a civil suit. Okay. I mean, I'm sure this will be a misdemeanor. He'll be on 3 years of probation. And, maybe he'll have to do some community service in the area. They're big on community service in that part of the country, actually. And, I think legally he'll be fine. I'd be shocked if he spends any time in jail. But I said it earlier, and I don't know if you agree with me. I think this incident happened in the right sport. I don't think hockey hold it against him at all.
I agree 100%. I really do. And what I would love is for the other people that were at the table who heard this guy using the language towards his mother in front of him to all step up and say, yeah, he deserved to get hit. That's what I'd really like to see.
I guess some guy posted a text he sent to a friend. He said, damn, this thing just happened. Gavin McKenna sitting here with his mom having dinner. Some guy's heckling him throughout, calls his mom a whore. McKenna gets up, doesn't say anything, decks the guy. I think he broke his jaw. Guy's going to the hospital. All right. And then his friend who received the text said, wow, cool.
But, you know, I mean, last night I'm watching the pregame of Panthers and Bruins on TNT. They're talking about it. They didn't offer up a lot of opinions, but they did bring the story up. So in today's world, this is a big hockey story. It's a very big hockey story.
Well, remember, who was it? The famous player's son who it was a handicapped person's wheelchair?
It was the GM of the Flyers' son, I believe.
And the son who was a prospect, for whatever reason, decided to take this person's wheelchair and like throw it down the stairs.
Yeah, that's picking on a handicapped person. That
right.
is
no.
But
that was real. That affected him. Okay. No, that
and
cost
it should
him
have. But
big time. Yes.
That's a character flaw, David.
Well, you could argue getting up and punishing someone and putting them in the hospital is a character flaw. Now,
you could.
I don't think it is.
I wouldn't. Let me ask you this, David. You're having dinner with your mom.
Right. No,
this same thing happened.
He's going to the hospital. Absolutely.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Miller and Moulton.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
When Glass Doctor replaces your windshield, we don't just send you on your way, we send you off protected. Your local Glass Doctor includes the industry's only 12-month windshield protection plan at no extra cost. That means unlimited chip repairs and even a one-time replacement if needed. High-quality service backed by real peace of mind, right here in your neighborhood.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
Exclusions apply. See your local Glass Doctor for details.
Get ready, Southwest Florida. The Southwest Florida Ag Expo is back. Now's the time to save big with the Mega Pass. Your all-in-one ticket to the fun, one low price. Get your one-day admission and unlimited midway rides. Mega Passes available online through February 26th at swflagexpo.com. Don't wait. Grab yours. Get ready for roots, rides, and real fun. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism. Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
This is Miller and Moulton.
And I actually know a guy that got into it. I don't know him. I am friends with people who were friends with this gentleman. I don't remember exactly what happened, but I think he went to jail. And I actually think he may have killed the guy. They were up at a hockey tournament, I think in the Boston area, and something happened where this guy did something to his kid or his wife, and the guy decked him, and the guy hit his head on the curb. And I thought he may have killed him, and I think the guy went away. So, I mean, I know you can't do it anymore. I get it, but we wouldn't have people running their mouths if you could. All started when people started bringing guns to parties. I mean, that's where it broke down. I know a lot of you are, big, but and I'm not against guns, but I just remember we fought when I was in high school. If you had a dispute with someone, you fought. And it was about 3 years after I graduated, a place where we used to go party at a park at night. Someone showed up with a gun. And that was like, I remember saying, well, that's kind of the end of the innocence. And I'm not blaming this. This is 1991, I think. So this isn't recent. This is just in my little hometown. And it wasn't in the tough part of Saginaw. Trust me. Remember, we've got a guest you got to call here, Rick. Just a heads up. I know you have plenty of time.
So, Rick, you got Keith, right?
Yeah, I'm in a minute. I'm
I
paying
just told him the same thing.
I'm paying attention. I won't make that mistake again.
Oh, that's all right.
We're something, aren't we, Rick?
I read
We're
your text
something.
like 7 times, David. I'm good.
Well, after you announced earlier in the week you're a perfectionist, and so between the app and the phone call, I'm like, oh my God, he must have got home and banged his head against the wall.
Yeah, it was not a good day. Not a good day for me, no.
Listen, I don't know if you realize you're working for the right two guys. Okay. I mean, you know how many mistakes we make a show?
A show. All right. Penn State hockey player Gavin McKenna was arrested on Saturday for punching a heckler that called his mother a whore in a restaurant. Right. Do you think it will affect his draft status?
How about if you were the one doing the drafting, would that affect his status?
I didn't know I had my button pushed.
We're ready to go.
Great.
Okay, I changed it a little bit here. Penn State hockey player Gavin McKenna, who is expected to be the #1 overall pick in the upcoming draft, was arrested Saturday morning for punching a heckler that called his mother a whore in a restaurant. If you were the one drafting, would it affect you drafting him?
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes to the top of the hour. Greg Auman covers the NFL to join us then. A little over an hour away from talking some of the Super Bowl prop bets with Dave Mason from BetOnline. We do have a poll question, and we've got Keith Smith to talk NBA on hold in a couple seconds. Mark, the poll question is...
Penn State hockey player Gavin McKenna, who is expected to be the #1 overall pick in the upcoming draft, was arrested on Saturday for punching a heckler that called his mother a whore in a restaurant. If you were the one drafting him, or if you were the one drafting, would it affect you drafting him? Yes or no?
That
Mark Miller?
The David Moulton, Miller_Moulton on X. The aforementioned Keith Smith, who covers the NBA for a living for Spot Rack and the YouTube NBA front office show. You can follow Keith on X at Keith Smith NBA, Keith Smith NBA. Keith, as always, hope you and your family are well. Thanks for making time for us. 10 significant trades in the last 36 hours. 10, and Giannis and Ja are still on the board. Listen, start wherever you want. Of the 10 trades that have gone down in the last day and a half, which one do you like and which one do you go, what in the world?
Yeah, the one I am confused about a little bit is why the Chicago Bulls wanted Gershon Yabusele. That seems a little odd. I know that's a very minor trade, but that one just doesn't make a ton of sense to me. The one I like quite a bit is I like Jaren Jackson Jr. to the Jazz. I think that's a really good pickup for Utah. Not so much for the rest of this season. They're still going to be bottoming this thing out. But as we move forward, the Jazz intend to be good going forward. And if they can re-sign Walker Kessler, jumbo-size front court of Kessler, Jackson, and Markkanen, that's pretty good stuff to build around, along with Keontae George, who's in the middle of a massive breakout season.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like they're going to have 5 starters that are 6'7" and over. It's going to be a big, different type of team, and there is a lot of talk going forward with what Utah will be. Just put a bow around Anthony Davis for us. He went from the Lakers to the Mavs to the Wizards in a matter of 367 days. You go from the top franchise in the league to a franchise that's largely been irrelevant for generations. How are they doing the right things in Washington? Is he ever going to play meaningful basketball again?
Yeah, I kind of laughed because I guess I hadn't really thought about it in that context. That is a kind of strange journey here. I do think the Wizards are doing the right thing. They had indicated that this was going to be their kind of last year of being in this full-scale, we're at the bottom rebuild. They were going to start moving things forward here in the acquisition of Trae Young and Anthony Davis. Those kind of moves are going to be, go a long way, towards making that happen. So I think that's a big deal for them. So I think they're in a place where this makes a lot of sense for the Wizards, because Trae Young's going to be really helpful for their young players, getting them organized, putting them in positions to succeed, especially on offense. And then Anthony Davis comes in. He should pair well with Alex Sarr in a big, versatile, quick, athletic front court. That should be pretty good. The big thing is always with Anthony Davis is going to be, you got to get and then keep him on the floor. And now that'll be a question we're going to be asking about him, no matter what team he's on for the rest of his career.
I know the Clippers would have been interesting if Harden had stayed, because they were 16-3 in their last 19, and probably would have been one of those 7-8 seeds that you really don't want to face in the first round. However, Cleveland's the one with more realistic chances of making the finals out of the East. How do you think Harden is going to hurt or help the Cavs?
I think he's definitely going to help them in the realm of James Harden doesn't miss a lot of time. He is pretty reliable about being on the court. And Darius Garland has missed a lot of time. And with these toe and foot injuries that he's had, which he's now had in both feet, there was real concern from Cleveland that it should be something they were going to have to find a way to manage him through, and he might need days off. And if something flares up in the playoffs, that's tough. Now, Darius Garland has also really struggled in the playoffs. People say that about James Harden because he has the memorable struggles when you get into closeout games. That's when he has not always shown up and played well. But I think he'll help them just from the fact that he's reliable. He's another good ball handler. He's going to do wonders for Jarrett Allen, because Jarrett Allen thrives with, lob thrower, and Harden still is one of the best pick and roll lob throwing point guards we have in the game. So I think he should make the things easier. One worry I have is it's easier to ask Darius Garland to, hey, go spot up, because we got to run things through Donovan Mitchell. We got to make sure the bigs get touches. With James Harden, that's not historically been his game. So that's something we're going to have to watch as that chemistry develops with them. And that's something Kenny Atkinson's going to have to really work on, is making sure, hey, Harden and Mitchell, you're both very ball dominant guys. You're going to have to share the load a little bit. If they get it right, it'll help both of them. But if those guys aren't, able to figure it out, that's going to be tricky chemistry-wise.
What's the best deal for Milwaukee to move Giannis? Is it today? And if so, to whom? Or do you keep him and do it before the draft, or even try to keep him because you get one of the top 3 picks? If you were Milwaukee, what would you do today?
Yeah, if you could, go into your crystal ball and know, it would be that last one, right? You would know, all right, hey, Giannis, take your time coming back. Maybe don't even come back this season. We'll bottom out. We'll get a good high draft pick. We'll pair you with that guy, with the other players we still have on the roster, and we'll move forward, with this, trying to win. But unfortunately, that's too much of an unknown. There's been a lot of mixed signals on this as far as does the trade come now or is the trade coming this summer? One of the thoughts that is out there is the Bucks may wait until teams like the Heat and the Lakers can offer more draft capital in trades because things free up a little bit for them in the future, and that could be a little bit more appealing to them. Plus, it's easier to rope a third team in the offseason to route maybe money you don't want if you're kicking off a rebuild. But there are just as many people, maybe even more, who have said, hey, this is now awkward. It's weird. It's going to be weird for everybody for the next few months throughout the rest of the regular season. Maybe it's best to just kind of move on. I think what it's ultimately going to come down to is, can somebody deliver a package of young talent and draft picks to the Bucks in the next, what do you got, about 7 hours, that is going to make them feel good about trading Giannis. If they can't, this will go into the summertime.
Well, Golden State, by making the Kuminga trade with Atlanta, they're out. The word is it's the T-Wolves or the Heat. We don't see how any of them have enough. I mean, maybe Minnesota could give up an established player that's a little better than a young player. But, I mean, does there seem to be a team out there that he would go to that has enough for Milwaukee to pull the trigger?
So I want to start with the Warriors part. I would not say that they're out. There has been a lot of buzz that they are very open to trade construction that involve moving Draymond Green, and some believe that they would move Jimmy Butler in a deal for Giannis. That's about the only trade where they think they could pass the smell test on. All right, we traded the injured guy, but we got Giannis. Here's the challenge, though. They can offer interesting youngish players like Moses Moody, Brandon Pajemski, but their real assets that they would offer is their future first-round picks that are probably post-Steph Curry, post-Giannis. Those have a lot of interest to Milwaukee. The one question has been, is that really where Giannis wants to go? So that's where the Warriors got to figure out, how do we want to move this if that's the direction we want to go in. Then with Minnesota, what Minnesota is looking at is, all right, we can't deliver the package direct to the Bucks, but can we get a third team, maybe the Portland Trailblazers, who own some of Milwaukee's picks, to give those picks back to Milwaukee, and we'll give an established player for a Portland team that's trying to improve and win, and we'll give them an established player, and that's how we balance this by pulling them in. And I can tell you the Heat have been looking to add a 2027 draft pick, which would kind of free them up to then trade other draft picks if they can. But they're being cautious of throwing too much into just doing that on the hopes of that's enough for Giannis. They would have to have something kind of in place where it is, all right, we were able to get this pick. Now we're flipping these other picks and the matching salary over to Milwaukee, and kind of off we go. But there's a lot of teams that have been working hard on how can we get there to a deal that'll entice the Bucks.
When you look at the East, Cleveland made the move for Harden. The Pistons get a shooter. The Knicks haven't done anything. Don't know if they will. And then you look at the Celtics, who I think are playing over their skis with the injuries they had coming into the season. At this point in time, after the deadline, how do you break down the East?
Yeah, now that they're playing better and with the moves that they made, I would put the Cavs right back in there along with the Knicks. And I'm going to give the credit to the Pistons. They have played so well this year. Their big need was adding another shooter. In theory, Kevin Huerter should do that. We'll see. Kevin Huerter has not shot it well the last 2 seasons, but prior to that, he's one of the better shooters we had in the game. So if they can get him back on track, I think Detroit's in pretty good shape, and they may have another move or two in them here over the rest of the day. So I'm going to put them up there. And then the Celtics are very interesting because it feels like the Anthony Simons for Nikola Vucevic swap is part one of maybe more to come as far as adding now some backcourt help, because the Celtics are in a position where they don't have a lot coming off the bench now as far as backup ball handling and the like. And there are still a lot of people who see Jason Tatum's return as being a likely thing at some point. He's not going to be all NBA Jason Tatum, but if he could come back and give them something, they now get the size up front. Jaylen Brown's had the breakout season. Pritchard's played well. Derek White seems to be turning it on. Yeah, Jason Tatum, that mix with the emergence. Some of the young guys, Boston thinks that they have a chance here too.
All right, Keith. Does Ja Morant have any value whatsoever? I'm trying to think of a guy who in less than 3 years went from perennial all-star, headliner to outcast. I mean, does he have any value?
He has value in the way Trae Young ended up having value, which is here's maybe an expiring contract and a nice role player. The Grizzlies are not going to get the package when they first put him on the market that they wanted: young picks, young talent in the door. Now, the good news is they got that in the Jaren Jackson Jr. trade. So if they're in a position where they can do something moving forward for Ja Morant, which gives them some salary relief, maybe a tradable role player on a decent contract going forward, they're now open to that idea. Again, the question is going to be, who really is going to pony that up? Because as you look around, there's a handful of teams that can use a point guard, and the ones who can use a point guard really kind of need what Ja Morant could be, but you have no faith that he's going to stay on the floor. No one is overly worried about the off-court stuff with him as far as the things that got him suspended by the NBA. That everybody feels like is in the past and not something to worry about. But what does worry people is he's injured all the time, and these are injuries that knee stuff keeps popping up, and these are things that keep him out. I think the stat is he has never played more than 6 consecutive games in his career to date. And that's even when he was going well, and we all loved him, and we're super high on him. So there's just not going to be a whole lot there trade-wise.
Keith, as always, we appreciate your time and your insight. You can find Keith Smith's work, on the NBA YouTube channel, Front Office Show, NBA Front Office Show, and he covers the NBA for Spot Rack. All right, follow Keith on X at Keith Smith NBA, Keith Smith NBA. Keith, as always, thank you. All the best. We'll talk soon.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me.
Keith Smith of Spot Rack and the NBA Front Office Show joining us once again here on the Miller and Moulton. I do feel as if I need to, we ended last segment with you asking me, would I have punched the kid and broken his jaw and sent him to the hospital if he called my mom a whore? And I said, absolutely, I would. I do have to amend that and say, first, I would have had to have prevented my mother from doing it. I would have had to have restrained her and convinced her to please let me handle this. I need you to be the one to bail me out. You have more money. Okay. Then I would have put the kid in the hospital. My mother sent a text, Mark, that said, if you did that, I'd give you $2 million.
Miller and Moulton. That Mark Miller, the David Moulton, Miller _ Moulton on X to vote.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Hey, football fans, Jimmy the Beef Guy here. This is coming up fast. Wait, did you just beat me? You mean I can't say soup? Whatever. So, guys, if you're having a football party, don't wait till last minute. Remember, guys, our beef packages come with the beef, the gravy, the bread, the peppers. All you have to do is heat and serve. So call me now or stop in one of our 2 locations in Bonita Springs or Fort Myers. And again, guys, please don't wait till last minute, man. Put your orders in now.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound. American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
At the Diamond District, we've built our inventory since day one.
We never pass on beautiful jewelry. For years, we've chosen exceptional diamonds and fine jewelry.
And when you buy with love for 2 decades,
your vault fills with extraordinary jewelry. That's why we're emptying the vault now through Valentine's Day. Enjoy rare pricing on jewelry chosen to celebrate love, connection, and commitment.
Will you be mine? Starts with diamonds from the Diamond District. Hablamos Español.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Why would he bench Fears? He's his best player, Sonny. He was literally the best guy in the court against Michigan, both teams.
Oh.
Did you, as Greg's coming on video, right?
He's supposed to be, yeah.
Okay. Might want to send him a text heads up.
Yeah.
Making sure you got the link. That's usually my go-to. Did you get the link? That's always the reminder.
No. Hey, Rick, if I go like this, it means you have to call him.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Halfway home on this Thursday, at least halfway in Jacksonville, Tampa, St. Pete, and Fort Myers, Naples. Final hour of the show. Live Oak Lake City surrounding areas. Port Charlotte, Venice surrounding areas. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Dave Mason from Bet Online to join us 1 hour from now. We're hoping to catch up with Greg Auman of Fox Sports coming up here momentarily to talk a little football. A lot to kick around on this day, whether it be basketball, whether it be hockey, whether it be a major baseball signing and the ramifications from it. Obviously, we're a little over 3 days away from the game.
And a second curling match in mixed doubles coming up later. So, I mean, we'll try to keep you updated on that. Big win for the U.S. in curling mixed doubles this morning over Norway, coming back to win their first match. I know you care. And by you, I mean the audience, because David doesn't care one bit.
Right. Greg Auman to join us coming up momentarily. Why should I care when you care enough for not just our show, but for like just about an entire markets sports talk show?
For the nation. For the nation, David. I am here for the nation when it comes to curling updates. Don't ask me why. I can't take my eyes off it when it's on television. I love everything about it.
I know you do. I know you do. So Roger Craig apparently getting in the Hall of Fame tonight. We'll find out who else will join him. Also, I think find out the MVP and a few other awards tonight with the NFL honors. Greg Auman of Fox Sports, kind enough to join us. Greg, it's David and Mark. How you been?
Doing good, guys. How are you?
We're good. Fox Sports, foxsports.com. Follow him on X at Greg Auman, AUMAN. All right. Let's talk Bucks for a second. What can you tell us about this young, supposedly hotshot offensive coordinator? It sounded like Bowles, who's had a lot of practice hiring offensive coordinators, got another good one.
Yeah, it seemed that way. It seemed like a good match of all the things they're looking for. Zach Robinson is a little bit older than Josh Grizzard was last year, but kind of in the same breath in terms of experience, at least, as Liam Cohen, which worked out really well for them 2 years ago. Has experience with the Rams, so it's kind of the same offense. Has experience being a play caller in the league with the Falcons. Has a little bit of experience, 6 weeks with Baker Mayfield. That doesn't hurt. I think kind of gave them a lot of things, knows the division well. And for them, I mean, I think, obviously, I think there were the brass ring types like Mike McDaniel or Todd Monken. But I think they also knew where they sat in the process to know that Monken turns out gets a head coaching job. McDaniel probably gets, one of the most plum of the 21 offensive coordinator jobs open. I thought it was a good fit and somebody that, again, there should be some continuity there. He doesn't get to play the Bucs anymore. He's had quite a bunch of success the last 2 years, going 3-1 and averaging 29 points a game against the Bucs, but he'll have to do without that.
The Bucs started the season and the offense was red hot, but a lot of it was in the 2 minute, a lot of those comebacks and Baker leading them to scores to win. Where does this offense have to go this year to be more consistent, to improve? And how worried are you? If a Mike Evans isn't back, there are some holes on this team. So where are you right now of where the offense is and where it needs to go between now, the draft, and free agency?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, they have to be healthier. I think that's the single biggest thing that worked against them in 25 was being down both tackles at one point, being down both guards most of the second half of the year, having Evans out for a while, having Godwin out for a while, having McMillan out for a while. So just some raw injury log worked against them in the first place. I think they have to be more consistent. I think they took a step back. I think everybody knew they had a really good year with Cohen calling the offense, really a top 5 offense in almost every regard. So, Evans would be key in terms of the people they could lose. I think they're okay losing Rashad White. I think if they lose Cade Auman, they'll just find a way to replace his production. But no, I think this is, they should be an upper half NFL offense if they're healthy, if not a top 10 offense. But again, I think, finding ways to get Mayfield a little bit more consistent in terms of eliminating his late game turnovers is probably something they'll definitely put a priority on.
Do they want Levante David and Mike Evans back? And I don't mean lip service want. You know what I'm asking. Do they really want them, or do they deep down feel, listen, it's time to move on?
Yeah, I think it's two different situations. I think Levante was a step slower this past year. And I would right now be surprised if he's back. They brought him out on the podium after his last game, which is not something they usually do for a defensive player. He thanked the media for his coverage in 14 years in Tampa, which felt more like a parting gift than it was somebody contemplating what's next for him. So Levante's had an amazing run, literally finishes tied with Derek Brooks for career tackles in the Bucs franchise history, which is an awesome thing. Mike Evans, I think, probably is closer to playing another year. He has a 3-way fork in that he could be back with the Bucs, which is probably the most likely of the 3. He could retire and walk away with 108 career touchdowns and a resume that's good enough for the Hall of Fame. Or he could play elsewhere. I don't see him doing that. But if for some reason, the Bucs have been paying him $20 million a year, some of these sites that value free agents, have him closer to 13 or 15 million a year, which is kind of what happens when you're at the age Mike's at, and there's kind of an inevitable decline. Mike has to decide first and foremost if he wants to come back because, he finished the year largely injured and not on a playoff team. And if he thinks he can do both of those things in 2026, whether it's here in Tampa or somewhere else, I think he'll be back. But again, he dealing with a collarbone injury. He's had persistent hamstring problems. He knows his body better than anybody else. I'm sure he has confidence he can still play at a high level, come back and have another 1,000-yard season and 10 touchdowns and make an impact on a playoff team. If he wants to do that, it's just a matter of whether the Bucs want to pay enough to make sure they keep him or risk having, easily the franchise's greatest offensive player ever finish his career with another team. I don't think they want that, but they can't just write a blank check either.
Greg, obviously the bigger talk in the offseason was Todd Bowles, and he was retained. And there were a lot of fans that didn't want it. There were a lot of people who cover the team that were unsure of whether he should have been retained as the head coach. I think for the record, both David and I were perfectly okay with the job he's done and where they're going. But the pressure's on him this year. That defense has to get better. We talked about the offense, a lot of injuries, but they've got to be able to be a team that can get after the quarterback and not do it by blitzing all the time. And I don't know if they have the personnel. Greg, do you?
No, I don't. They didn't this past year, for sure. So I think I'll be curious to see whether Jason Light is more aggressive in going out, spending money. Usually the Bucs, to their credit, have been able to focus their off-season priorities on keeping their best players and paying the guys that they develop as draft picks, as young players. And I think they've done that, but I do think there comes a point where the people you have aren't getting the job done. So I don't know if it'll be anything as drastic as trading for Max Crosby or writing a big check for one of the elite pass rushers. I think they tried to do that a year ago when they got Haason Reddick, and it just didn't take at all. So I think the defense has to get better, and I think that starts probably with pressure up front. I think you'll see change at linebacker. I think you'll probably see some infusion of high draft picks on the defensive front. Bowles, to his credit, jettisoned 3 longtime assistants, has filled one of those spots right now, still has to fill both of his DB jobs. And I'll be curious to see what he finds, who he chooses to bring them in. And that, I think the people he had were people he'd known for 40 years who understand what he wants and can implement the exact scheme he wants. And maybe he'll bring in some younger voices that might be dissenting opinions and might challenge him a little bit and bring a fresh set of opinions and ideas and schemes to this defense. But I think they do need to have some change. They want a good defense, especially down the stretch, especially at the end of games. And that has to change if he's going to stick around.
Greg, final one for me. You saw both Seattle and New England this year. They both beat Tampa. Just your thoughts on the game.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I wish I was there. Got to go to the AFC Championship game, saw that Patriots defense in person. Easily the best Patriots defense playoff-wise the franchise has had. I forget, I think it's 26 points to get up in 3 games. The game they won in Denver was the fewest points and fewest yards ever for a Patriots playoff victory. So I think the defense has gotten them there. I think Seattle is a little bit more of a complete team that's dangerous on both sides of the ball. I look back, I wasn't there in Seattle that day, but I had no idea how the Bucs beat Seattle. I think Seattle scored touchdowns on 5 straight drives, and the Bucs still beat them. So I just see a loaded team on both sides. I think they're going to be careful with Sam Darnold and try and keep him from making mistakes. But I think they have enough playmakers in JSN and Rashid Shaheed and just a talented team that's young on both sides. They got a hungry secondary. This injury potentially yesterday to Nick Eamon-Wari, their rookie safety, nickel, is a little problematic, but they have good depth in the secondary. So right now, I like Seattle. I think they'll be able to score in a way that these other opponents haven't on the Patriots so far. I think this is easily the best team New England has faced. And I think the Seahawks win it. I think we had to do picks for work. I think I had like 31-20 as the Seahawks win.
He's Greg Auman, NFL for Fox, foxsports.com. Follow him on X at Greg Auman, AUMAN. Greg, thanks. We always appreciate it. Be well.
Oh, of course, guys. Take care. Have a good one.
Greg Auman joining us here on Miller and Moulton.
Hope he's wrong on the 11-point game. Would like to see a closer game than that, but we have to see the regular season Drake May, who was the MVP candidate, play in this Super Bowl, because so far, and he's played against very good defenses, but Drake May in the postseason has not been Drake May in the regular season, whereas Sam Darnold has been fantastic in the postseason. We need to see the regular season Sam Darnold, which was good, but the playoff one's been better. I mean, his playoff, if you look at quarterback rankings, if you're into those numbers, his are off the charts in the 2 games he's played. So we'll see.
I think this is where the Patriots are still a year away. I don't think they have the weapons to score enough points to beat Seattle. Like, Diggs at 17 yards in the AFC Championship game. I know the conditions and all that, but if you're New England, do you feel confident you can score 24 against these guys? Because I think Seattle's going to at least get to 20. I know you got a terrific defense and all that, but you got to score some points here. I like your running back tandem. I do. But do they have the wide receivers and tight ends to really do damage against Seattle?
I do think the point that Greg made about the rookie safety, that perhaps being injured, that's a factor. But David, I agree with you. Without turnovers, I don't know how New England gets the necessary points in the game. And that puts it on that defense to turn Darnold over.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Get ready, Southwest Florida. The Southwest Florida Ag Expo is back. Now's the time to save big with the Mega Pass. Your all-in-one ticket to the fun, one low price. Get your one-day admission and unlimited midway rides. Mega Passes available online through February 26th at swflagexpo.com. Don't wait. Grab yours. Get ready for roots, rides, and real fun. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
This is Miller and Moulton. Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Thanks for being with us on this first Thursday of February. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Mark joining us once again, as he has all week long, from Moffitt Cancer Center. The bone marrow transplant takes place, dinner time tomorrow?
It might be later. I don't have a time yet. I asked. No one really knows. There are a lot of things that are involved in it, when the cells get here, how long they spend at the lab, things like that. But apparently it will take between 1 and 3 hours to do. It's done in my room. It's very simple. It's just like they attach the cells to my line that's in my chest right now, and away we go. But they refer to it as a birthday, that I have now another birthday, which I'm very proud of, because I will celebrate both and will expect presents for both.
From how many people, how many of us have to celebrate? So this is February 6th now, is going to become your second birthday.
Which is great, because my birthday's in August, so I get a birthday every 6 months. And I don't know if I want presents. I just want, I'm hoping this gives me a lot longer life, and then I can say I live to be like 106 or something like that, David.
So how old are you? Well, I'm 83 and I'm 27.
Right.
Huh.
Exactly.
Okay. Right. That'll just confuse the heck out of people, right?
Well, the good thing is, oh, go ahead.
We can get the birthday cakes going forward, in which it just says, like, happy 12th birthday, happy whatever birthday, so here you are, you'll be, darn near a senior citizen, or maybe even a senior citizen, and we'll be celebrating your 12th birthday.
Well, and next year I can do that smash cake, like the babies do, where I can eat it with my hands.
Now I'm just curious. You make a dadgum good point, because you're August 23rd, right?
Right.
And that's almost perfect.
Exactly.
Month 2, month 8. I mean, it's almost that. That's the way you want to do it if you're going to have 2 birthdays.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, you throw a little Father's Day in 2 months before the one birthday. You throw Christmas in about 6 weeks before the other. I mean, hot steaming deal. You're going to feel loved year round.
I feel very loved, period. Between my family, the audience, friends, it's been staggeringly overwhelming in a very good way.
Well, that's awesome, because you deserve it. And so that's fantastic. Mark at millerandmoulton.com, by the way, if you just want to send him a note and say, good luck. How the heck are you? Or
I'm looking for a sponsorship. Oh, sorry. That does not end.
Right. Or if you, just want to send him a note and say, listen, obviously I wish you the best, but your take, on this Gavin McKenna thing, blah, 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 So
that is our poll question today. Gavin McKenna, is he expected to be the number 1 overall pick in the NHL draft after losing to Michigan State in the big outdoor game in Happy Valley over the weekend? He was having dinner with his mother. He was being heckled by another table, in which one of the people at the table called his mother a whore. He punched the person in the jaw, breaking the jaw of that person. He has been arrested on felony charges. Would it affect you drafting him? It would not affect me. I do think, however, a couple of very good points were made in the chat room, in that he's a Canadian citizen. You have to get a work visa.
Okay.
I mean, if this guy decides to be a dink and doesn't, and the prosecutors don't want to reduce charges, it will affect his draft status. It will.
Okay. I don't know what the rules are, the immigration rules are. I'm guessing a felony is probably not good for you getting work visas in this country, but if it gets reduced to a misdemeanor, okay, never mind, Mark. I don't know if you're aware, but occasionally, politicians, authorities, prominent people make phone calls and get involved in situations like this.
And it is amazing that in the last, less than 30 days, but certainly in the last 3 weeks, I believe, weren't all 4 commissioners of the NHL, NBA, MLB and the National Football League at the White House discussing our 250th anniversary with the president?
Yes.
Okay. Just
yes.
Thought I'd not going political. Just there's this president likes sports. He wants the 250th celebration of our nation to have things to do with our sports teams. That's just a fact.
Now, I do think it's added leverage for the kid for when he sues McKenna. You know, they can let the authorities know they're not interested in a plea. Now, the authorities can do what they want, but oh no, this is going to be tricky. I mean, do you expect this to be resolved by the draft?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Here's a look at, and I know no one cares other than you and I about college hockey. How long does he get suspended from Penn State for?
I don't think he's going to be suspended from Penn State.
Right.
Well, but I'm just talking about the legal situation, though. I mean, do you think, because the draft's late June, okay, do you think this will be resolved? I don't.
I do. I think the pressure, I believe it or not, I think there's going to be more pressure on the punk that called his mother a whore. When this gets out and becomes a little more mainstream, because now, you know, the headline, Gavin McKenna arrested for assault.
Yeah, people don't know who Gavin, right. Most people don't know who Gavin McKenna is. Right.
And, you know, I do think this is where, you know, Bissonnette and the Spit and Chiclet guys, and I know they don't affect maybe older people, but they affect the younger crowd. If you're a hockey fan, you listen to Spit and Chiclets. Whose side are they going to be on?
They're going to be on Gavin McKenna's side.
Thank you.
You can't be a Canadian farm boy and not uphold mom.
I mean, some of the stories that I've heard on that show recently, like Pronger was on talking about his family getting into a fight on the way to the draft because they got cut off. And he was the last one out of the car because his dad and brother were trying to pound someone on the road. They just had O'Callahan or whatever, the Olympic hockey player.
Yeah, Jack O'Callahan.
Jack O'Callahan telling a story about working at, I think the bar's called the Dugout near Fenway. He got a job there. And he told a story that he was young bartender. A couple guys came in late and wanted a drink. And he said it reminded him of a Bronx Tale because the guys were kind of being punks. And the owner of the bar challenged the two. And at that point, O'Callahan grabbed the baseball bat from behind the bar. He was 18, 19 years old, jumped over the bar. And the two guys said they were leaving. And the owner of the bar says, I think we're going to get along really well. So, I mean, hockey's a different mentality. So It will not affect hockey people at all.
No. This might be an outrage if it was a baseball player. If this was, you know, would this hurt a guy in the NFL draft? Would it cost him a few spots in the first round or many spots in the first round? I don't know. I'm telling you, you're going to get fan bases that are going to be like, you better draft that kid. That's the kind of guy I want on my team. I want 20 guys that are tough to play against. And if you call their mother a whore, they beat the hell out of you. That's the kind of team I want.
And, you know, right now, Calgary's praying they get the first overall pick. The NHL isn't, but Calgary is.
No doubt. No doubt. Boy, would they love him in Western Canada.
Oh, my goodness.
That'd be great. Miller and Moulton, MillerandMoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Vote however you'd like. Dave Mason from Bet Online. We'll talk some of the prop bets in the Super Bowl coming up at the top of the hour. NFL honors tonight. We find out who gets in, who doesn't, to the Hall of Fame. Trade deadline is 6.5 hours away. Could Giannis be going to Miami? Could he be going to the T-Wolves to team up with Anthony Edwards? Oh, I love a trade deadline.
I mean, this is nirvana for you, David. You've got a trade deadline, a Hall of Fame, and even on a lesser extent, they didn't settle an arbitration between Skubal and the Tigers, so we'll find out who won that today. So some baseball, some football, and some basketball off the court stuff.
And you've got curling.
I can't wait.
Miller and Moulton, MillerandMoulton.com.
Think we only fix windows? Think again. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business does so much more to upgrade your home. We custom build stunning shower and bath enclosures, install sleek glass doors and windows, and can bring fresh life to foggy or cracked panes. Need a glass tabletop or a statement mirror? Yep, we do that too. If it's glass and it's in your home, we're the team to call.
Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh yeah.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
This is Miller and Moulton.
So I was texting with JP the other day. I just asked him his thoughts on the vote, and we texted for a while. He said the city's going to be tougher than the county.
Gotcha.
He said it's 5-2 county right now, maybe 4-3 county, but he doesn't see a problem there. He said it's 4-3 city, but there's a new city council person that could swing it. But does that person really want to commit political suicide by sending the Rays to Orlando in their first vote? It's pretty good, JDR. Did you read that, David?
I did.
That's funny. You know, I figured for sure, and it still could happen because the Pens could sell off some pieces. But you know what's going to end up happening is the effing Rangers are going to get the first overall pick. Yeah, I said the effing Rangers, and I know it's Moulton's team. My Red Wings got screwed every year in the lottery draft. Every year. Not one time did they do better than they were supposed to do. Not once. But Vancouver's clearly the worst team in the league. Then St. Louis. Then the Rangers. And then Winnipeg, boy, could you imagine if Chicago got the lottery? I mean, they're the 5th worst team. Bedard and McKinnon. Oh, or McKenna. Oh. I'm amazed at how well the Pens have played this year. That Pens or Bruins, what surprised you more? Me, Pens, David.
Bruins.
Really?
Yeah, I thought they were going to be bad.
But I mean, you know, they've got Pasternak, they've got McAvoy there. I mean, they've got younger guys that are good. I mean, I just thought the Pens were old and bad outside of Sid. I'm stunned. David, one of the texters did say yesterday in regards to Ask Swab Wednesday, if we had an OnlyFans page, we would have to name it Rub and Tug.
Nice.
Yeah. I'll keep that for off air as best I can. Have you seen a guy's texted a couple times, keeps asking about the Bulls? Wow, too late.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. So Dave Mason will join us from Bet Online. We'll talk some of the Super Bowl prop bets. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. So you're running the Tigers. Does it matter, by the way, whether you win or lose this arbitration hearing today and you have to pay him 19 and change or 32 and change? Is that a deal breaker?
No,
Okay.
It's not.
All right.
Not at all.
So right now, you've signed Valdez, and he's going to be making at least, well, he could be making double what Skubal's making, but if Skubal wins, he'll still be making $6 million a year more than what Skubal's making. But your top 2 starters, you could be paying $70 million a year if Skubal wins an arbitration. You're running the Tigers. You going to keep Skubal for the year and take your best shot to win the World Series? You going to trade Skubal now since you signed his replacement? Or you going to roll it out there for 3.5, 4 months and see where we're at come the deadline?
1984, David. 1984.
2 years.
I'm going for a title. And there are a lot of reasons here. We have thought, and I have thought in particular, that there was no way they were keeping him. I know you were in total agreement with me on that. Scott Boras is his agent. He's not going to be a Tiger next year.
No, not at all.
And I think that the Detroit fan has come to grips with that. It bothers them. They wanted them to offer all this money, but the fact of the matter is it's not how Boras operates. So what do they want? They want this ownership group, because this isn't old man Ilitch. He passed away. Old man Ilitch spent the money. They had Verlander and Scherzer. They put good teams together. They just couldn't get it done in October. They came damn close. They had great opportunities. You know, that catch or home run, I guess, that was at Hunter that went over the wall on the home run and cost them the series against the Red Sox. They're in the World Series, and they probably win it.
They took game 1, and they're a solid lead in game 2. If they finish that game off, they're 2 up on the Red Sox in 2013. That would have been their 3rd trip to the World Series in an 8-year period of time.
And they very well may have won that World Series, but they didn't. And since the old man passed, this group has not spent money the way that Mr. Ilitch did. And I think the Tiger fan wants to see them push all their chips in for this year. You know, it's the same family that owns the Red Wings. And the guy running the Red Wings is a hero in Detroit. But they're not getting players in trades either. You know, the Lions were close. They didn't make a move at the deadline when many thought that they would. Here are the Pistons actually making a couple of moves. We'll see what that happens. And I'm not going to get into all that and make this a Detroit sports show. But 42 years.
I'm with
you. This fan base wants a run at a World Series. And Skubal can leave and go somewhere else. If he gets a third Cy Young, great. But if he gets a World Series, he will be given a pat on the back and a hug as he leaves Motown, and will always be a hero to a team with some great heroes over the years. So I would push all my chips in and do everything I could do to win this year. Can you get to the World Series? Hell, I don't know. Can you beat the Dodgers? I don't know, but man,
worry about the Dodgers down the road. But can you get to a World Series?
Right.
You tell me a team you're going to face in the American League that's going to have a better pitching staff than yours. Seriously, name the team. The playoffs start. I don't care. Best of 3, best of 5, best of 7. You tell me the team that's going to have better starting pitching than the Detroit Tigers.
There's not.
There you go. I'm totally with you. I would do it too. Here's the X factor. We ain't going to have baseball in 2027. And
Bingo.
I am convinced of that. I think best case scenario, we get like a 1981 scenario where they had a 6-week strike in June and July, and they resumed, I think, early August. And we had basically like 2 50-something game seasons. I think we'll be lucky. The COVID season was 60 games. I'll put the over-under right now at 59.5 for how many games we're going to have in 2027, and I'm going under. And here's the other thing. What system are we going to have in place when play resumes? I mean, it's possible where it's financially best for Boris and Skubal to do a deal in Detroit. I mean, who knows? God forbid there's some kind of cap. I mean, look at all the teams in which all of a sudden they're going to be pressed unless you've got, I don't know, a year or two to get compliant.
Yeah, I don't know how they – first off, there's no way to me that they can have a hard cap in baseball if they get it in. To me, it would always have to be some framework of what the NBA has, at least for – I don't know, David, 5 years to start this and then work towards a hard cap, if you know what I mean? Because I don't know how you tell the Dodgers you've got to basically have a fire sale. You know, I mean, the Mets, I just don't get how it would work. I really don't.
Well, the only way you can do it, you got to have 23 votes. I mean, that's it. Maybe that's Manfred Mark. Maybe that's his ultimate. You know what? I just got to get 23 votes and screw the Dodgers, screw the Yankees, screw the Mets. Screw the Red Sox. That's 4. Probably the Phillies, 5. I got 2 more.
Screw the Pirates, the Rays, the Marlins. Well, I'm not even going to say the Rays because new ownership, I think they will spend. But screw the Marlins, screw the Pirates, screw the Twins, screw all these teams that will not want to spend a floor. Well, that's the harder part.
I understand. But you know what I think would happen? I think it would force those guys to sell. It would. It might force 1 or 2 to move. Like, I don't know with a floor if the Marlins can stay in existence. I don't. Certainly not with current attendance and revenue and ownership. No, I don't know if all of a sudden we had even $125 million floor. I don't know if the Marlins could stay in business. Never mind if it was $140, $150, $160. So the Marlins might have to move. Shortman might have to sell. The Pirates guy might have to sell. Hey,
boy, would they would do bat flips, backflips rather, not bat flips. They would do bat flips and backflips in Pittsburgh if he sold that team. They would be so happy.
By the way, and this doesn't get talked about enough, I'm not so sure the Cubs wouldn't be in favor of a cap. Do you see how much revenue they generate versus how much revenue they spend? Of the big market teams, they spend far less of their revenue on their ball club than all the other big boys.
St. Louis, San Diego, San Francisco, Atlanta. I mean,
San Diego's about to sell. Also, San Diego's going to sell. You mean to tell me?
She's worked it out with her brothers or whatever.
They're
going to move that team. Exactly.
Right. Tell me, by the way, you're selling out every game 40,000. Tell me you wouldn't want a cap. Tell me, first off, you wouldn't want a cap with the Dodgers and Giants in your own division. Padres would definitely be in favor of a cap.
What about Philly? I don't think they would be opposed. You don't think they would?
I don't. No, I don't. That owner really wants to win a World Series. That owner likes spending money. Now he doesn't spend Mets, Dodgers money, but he spends coin.
Well, that's the thing. But that's the thing. He could still spend it and not have to spend what. That's interesting to me.
All right. How wide do you think this? Like in the NBA, for those that pay attention to it. Okay, you got your. I don't know, the cap's at like 160, and then you can go to 180 before you hit the first tax, and you can go to like 200 to hit the second, whatever it is. But I mean, think about it. Even in the NBA, it's like $40 or so million, I think, is the flexibility part. I mean, how much flexibility you think if Manfred could get his way, he could draw this up? Okay, let's just say he puts the floor at $140. Where do you think he wants the ceiling?
2.
Okay.
2.
All right. Think about it. Do you know how many teams now got to be compliant? I mean, the teams that are spending 220, 230, 240?
And how many teams have to get to the floor? And this is where you and I have talked about this for years, how we would be selling it to the union. I don't understand how you cannot convince the rank and file that this is not much better for them. More players would get more money. And they have no control, none whatsoever.
I think the problem for Major League Baseball is to get the union membership to get the rank and file to turn on the leadership. It would have to be clear as day that the cap that they're proposing, say a floor of 150 and a ceiling of 2.25, and this is what the average salary would be. Now, I think it would be really easy. Okay, that's exactly how you'd have to do it. If you're going to want a cap, okay, it's bad enough you owners are fighting amongst each other. You got to get the players fighting amongst themselves too. They can't just be sitting there with their arms folded going, let me know when you guys are done. Okay.
Well, and you've got to, I don't know about if attack's the right word, but when Manfred went in and Harper says, if you're going to talk about a cap, get out of here. I'd walk right past him, say, I'm the commissioner. And I'd say, I'd like to talk to you 15 players right now, you 18 players that aren't making $30+ million a year. Let me show you how it's going to affect you. So I'm with you. They've got to put heat on the union and get the union to at least get the rank and file to believe that this can be a better system for a lot of them.
Okay, well, but think about this. The average salary in Major League Baseball is right around $5 million. Depend on what you look at. It's been as low as 4.7. It's been as high as like 5.2. Let's just call it 5. Got 26 on the roster. That's 130. That's 130. The dugout has got to be a minimum of $130. I have no idea if they're going to include the rest of the 40-man roster on it. My guess is they will. Okay, so we're talking a minimum 130. That's just to have status quo. If you want to, don't you have to make the average salary from $5 million to $6 million?
Well, you probably do, and you're probably right. But here's the thing. That's the average salary. When you take out most teams' top players, what's the real average salary? And how would that be affected? All of these teams, most of these teams have a couple of big priced guys. That means that the rest of their average salary is like 3, not 5.
What if Major League Baseball tried to do like the NBA? There are max salaries. I mean, based on time served and what team you're on, okay, what it is they can offer. Like, this is the big thing. We're talking about Giannis. The Bucks can offer Giannis after this season 4 for $272. There's no other team that can offer him close to that. That's how the system's set up. This way you get to keep your own great players. That's 68 per. All right? And if you're baseball, if you want to have a floor and a ceiling, okay, that's NBA. All right? Then are you going to do salaries the same way? Aren't you going to have to show the rank and file?
By the way, the UCLA basketball coach, not to switch gears here quickly, David, but he makes a lot of great comments. Mick Cronin is a press guy's dream.
Post-game gold.
He is gold, but he basically compared college sports to pro sports, which it is now. And he says, we're the MLB. We need to be the NFL with a cap. We're the MLB. And he was defending Rutgers, going all in last year, and it didn't work. And they pounded Rutgers. He goes, they don't have the money. And he's, while saying that, saying neither do we. We can't keep up with Michigan or whomever else. But, for those of you that don't like baseball and don't like our NBA talk, just equate this to college football right now, which you all love.
Do you
want to be the MLB or do you want to be the NFL?
Did you hear Kelvin Sampson yesterday after beating UCF? It was either the day before the game or last night. I thought it was last night. He said, we're poor. As an athletic department, we're poor. I know we played for the Natty last year. I know we're top 10 this year. He goes, it ain't going to continue much longer. I'm just letting you know. It's all about cash, and we don't have it. And for those of you that are didn't Houston just have a really good year in the Big 12 football-wise?
Yep.
Okay, and he's like, guys, I'm telling you, we're poor. We're in the bottom part of this conference financially. This ain't going to last much longer. Oh, okay. All right.
We talked about it yesterday. It's the way too early top 25 rankings. 9 SEC, 8 Big 10.
Right. So Notre Dame in there, that's 18. That's room for 7 ACC Big 12 combined.
Right. Miami, they're spending it. Texas Tech, they're spending it.
Yeah,
SMU can spend it.
So that leaves 4 more.
Right. There you go.
But anyway, we ain't going to have baseball in 2027. That's what we're trying to tell you. Okay. Make your baseball viewing plans this year accordingly. The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Hey, football fans, Jimmy the Beef Guy here. This is coming up fast. Wait, did you just beat me? You mean I can't say soup? Whatever. So, guys, if you're having a football party, don't wait till last minute. Remember, guys, our beef packages come with the beef, the gravy, the bread, the peppers. All you have to do is heat and serve. So call me now or stop in one of our 2 locations in Bonita Springs or Fort Myers. And again, guys, please don't wait till last minute, man. Put your orders in now.
At the Diamond District, we've built our inventory since day one.
We never pass on beautiful jewelry. For years, we've chosen exceptional diamonds and fine jewelry.
And when you buy with love for 2 decades,
your vault fills with extraordinary jewelry. That's why we're emptying the vault now through Valentine's Day. Enjoy rare pricing on jewelry chosen to celebrate love, connection, and commitment.
Will you be mine? Starts with diamonds from the Diamond District. Hablamos Español.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. AmericanPaintSupplies.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floormeisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floormeisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floormeisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floormeisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floormeisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
This is Miller and Moulton.
And guys, on this whole McKenna thing, I get you guys going back and forth. I just want you to understand that, I Stove Up, I don't know how old you are, but I know you're older than I am. Mark, I don't know how old you are. We're talking about an 18-year-old, and you're trying to impose wisdom on them of being an adult. It doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it different. But you keep saying, well, this is what I do. Is that what 18-year-old you would do? Really? Are you sure? I mean, come on now. Also with the bravado of being an athlete. I know they've got to act differently and they're supposed to. I get it. I get all of it. Whatever you say, I understand. But you are making all of these judgments as a fully grown, older man. And I think you have to have a little perspective of being an 18, 19-year-old young man and seeing your mother being treated that way by a punk. Should he have acted better? Of course. Do I blame him? Not one effing bit. Well, it's 91 to 9%, by the way. Yeah, I don't think that's affecting him one bit. I actually think I'm hoping he wins the arbitration, Johnny O, because what would affect me is making half as much as the number 2 pitcher. I mean, I really hope he wins the arbitration because I don't want him making 19 and this guy making 38. I think that's a bigger problem than hitting the guy in the face, than being a free agent, than thinking about getting traded. I really think the disparity in income would piss me off because I'm better. We're calling this guy, right?
No, he's calling us on the hotline.
Oh, he's calling us. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, just.
Yeah, I think Rick's staring at the hotline. Ready.
I am. Yep. Not yet.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the Diamond District bonus hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Final hour of the show. Good, bad, and ugly. What's on tap? Today was the day when, all coming up in about 35 minutes' time. We were hoping to talk a little prop bets and some Super Bowl gambling, but can't get a hold of our guest. So that may not happen. We will have Lee Sterling on the show at 7 o'clock tomorrow. Okay, and Pat Kerwin on the show at 8 o'clock tomorrow. So we'll be talking gambling on the Super Bowl and the Super Bowl itself. That will, in fact, be coming up. So there.
Whole question's up. It's about the hockey player, Gavin McKenna, who hit a heckler who was harassing his mother in a restaurant. He was arrested. What would you do? He's supposed to be the first overall pick. Would it impact your drafting him first overall? 91% of you right now said it would not affect you whatsoever.
Dave Mason, he is the sportsbook brand manager for Bet Online. Bet Online. Dave Mason, kind enough to join us once again. Dave, it's David and Mark. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Well, good. First off, is the betting public excited about this Super Bowl? How is action so far this year compared to last year?
It's about on par. It's about on par. The Super Bowl, it starts out crazy. That first Sunday when the odds open up on Monday, there's a ton of action, and then it kind of levels off. And then yesterday, start picking up. We took some really big bets. And it just through the weekend. So, it's about on par. I really haven't measured. I'm just doing an eyeball test. I keep hearing that the Super Bowl is not sexy. It's not, it's not big storylines like the Brady Belichick years and the Patrick Mahomes and, of course, Taylor Swift, right? But what I'm confident is Monday when all the sports books start sharing their numbers, it's going to be record numbers. Every year it happens.
Well, and, I think the thing that maybe surprised us the most is that this line hasn't moved a whole lot. I mean, I know some people that jumped it at 4 right when it came out, but it's really settled in. Both the over-under and the line have settled in. Now that you're saying you're taking a few more big bets, do you see the line moving, if at all, between now Sunday at 6:30?
Oh, boy. I mean, it could. Yeah, we opened 4. Got bet some sharps, took that -4. But yeah, it's settled at 5 and 45.5. It could go a half a point. I can't see Seattle going any more than 5. I can't see it going up to 5.5. I could see a 4.5 total. It could go either way. I mean, right now, 63% of bettors and 59% of cash is on Seattle -5, and 61% of the money is on the over. But no, 61% of bettors are on the over, but 54% of cash is on the under.
How many prop bets do you have?
Oh God, thousands. Especially when you include same game parlays, and you can parlay props down to same game parlays. I mean, as far as just individual props, probably a couple thousand. Then you skip parlay and same game parlay, and the combinations are just infinitesimal.
All right, just for single prop bets. I mean, I know you've got to get this stuff up quickly. When does it start being worked on? Once the championship games are settled and there's like a list of what all the props would be? That seems fascinating with me. I'm guessing that some sort of AI type thing has to help. How quickly do you guys turn this around? Because that's what blows me away as a bettor. This game settled and it's like, hey, we're ready to go now.
Yeah, I mean, no AI. A good group of good team that's been doing this for many years. I mean, I've been in the industry for 2 decades now, so we know what we're doing. It depends. Not every prop is created equal. I mean, when you're talking about the game stats and stuff, over, under, passing yards, all that stuff. I mean, that's just easy as can do. I mean, it's you've had all season to do this stuff, so we have our metrics, we have all our stats and everything, and they're just easy to do. The manual labor is more just adding this stuff to the site. It's very tedious. That takes longer than doing the numbers themselves. You're talking about the unique stuff, the crazy Super Bowl stuff. I mean, some of it we had the blueprint for. We do it every year, the Gatorade, that kind of stuff. Then the national anthem. That might, we've been working on that for weeks because we know who the singer is going to be. So some of the stuff you've been working on for weeks. You're looking at storylines, what teams are going to be in it. The perfect example last year, Taylor Swift. Okay, if the Chiefs are in the Super Bowl, we're going to have a ton of Taylor Swift stuff. So you're working on that for all season, just about. So some of the stuff is immediate, like the player stats, the MVP, easy. But the more unique stuff, that takes a few days. That usually goes up later. Then it goes up throughout the week.
Dave Mason with Bet Online, talking the Super Bowl, the gambling, the prop bets, etc. How many bets do you actually have on the broadcast? Like, how many times Collinsworth says something, or, how many times somebody has shown? I mean, with no Taylor Swift, I'm guessing there's not as many, but, I'm just curious how many Tirico Collinsworth NBC bets are there?
Yeah, and there's. I mean, we still have the three biggest days to come in, or four. Today, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I mean, so there's good early action. Not a ton yet, but by Sunday everything will getting bet. I mean, the biggest, the ones that are taking the most action. Let's see, from the broadcast. What's this? Will Malcolm Butler's Super Bowl interception be shown? That's taking a lot of bets. That's got to be a guarantee right there. When will Super Bowl rematch be mentioned first quarter? Darnold first quarterback in 2018 Class 3 Super Bowl we mentioned. That's taking a lot of bets. Patriots goal line interception from 2015 Super Bowl. That's taking a lot of bets. So, and some aren't taking many bets. But by Sunday, everything's going to be taking action.
We talk a lot of gambling on this show. We love it. We have our little systems, and let's be honest, we're not that good. That's why we're hosting a show and not professional gamblers. The public typically is not great because I don't ever see them knocking down casinos to build smaller ones. If you were to give advice to a bettor, what would that advice be to win? Where should they stick to? What do you think are the safest plays to try to not get cleaned out on Sunday? I know that's not in your best interest, but I thought I'd throw a little PSA out there for the listeners.
Well, I mean, we want, first of all, we want gamblers to be responsible. We want long-term loyalty from our customers. So I always preach responsibility. I mean, bet within your means. We don't want people chasing and getting in debt or anything. Just to bet. Keep it recreational. At the end of the day, 1% to 2% of people can win at this thing long term. So you got to keep it recreational. You got to keep it fun. As far as the best advice, especially for the Super Bowl, don't wait till Super Bowl Sunday. By Super Bowl Sunday, whether you bet the meat and potato markets like spread, total, money line, or props, all those odds are going to be sharp. The values and the early odds. I mean, like I said, we opened -4, and the sharps bet that -4 right away and moved it up to 5. Doesn't mean they're going to win, but long term they win. Same with the props. I mean, by Sunday there's so much value out there in the props, but the sharps are picking them apart, so they're moving every day. These sharps are banging those odds and there's not going to be as much value come Sunday. So don't wait till Super Bowl Sunday.
How much interest outside of North America is there in this game? Is there more money bet elsewhere than bet in North America? Just curious.
No. I mean, North America is where it's at. I mean, we take action. We're global sports books, so we take action all over the world. But North America is our bread and butter. USA, Canada, and that's where probably 98% of our action will come in the Super Bowl Sunday.
Gotcha. Dave Mason, Bet Online. He's the Sportsbook brand manager. Bet Online. Dave Mason, thank you. Have a great Super Bowl. Good luck.
Hey, thank you very much for having me. Good luck, everybody.
Dave Mason joining us once again here on Miller and Moulton.
We have our insider joining us tomorrow, and it's
Right.
not Lee Sterling. It's Lee Sterling's daughter.
Right.
Okay.
This is it.
She is 10-0-1, I believe, in the last 11 Super Bowls.
Would have been 11-0, but Reba doubled down.
Exactly. That's why we didn't get too in-depth in the national anthem time. We think we have an expert. And we don't think it. We have an expert. Lee's been great. His, big plays have paid off over the years. His weekly picks have done well over the years. Not like the anthem. Not even close.
No, his daughter is money. Money. We have people who they don't, they may listen to the show regularly. I don't know, but they don't chime in much at all. We've had a few people this week. I don't know if you noticed in the chat line. That's like, hey, when are you having Lee on for, his daughter in the anthem? It's like, okay, good to hear from you. We'll talk again in 51 and a half weeks. Oh, yeah. Don't worry. 7 a.m. tomorrow, baby. Lee Sterling. And through extension, his daughter, Pat Kerwin, live from Santa Clara.
Should I even know who this anthem singer is? Is this bad that I don't even know who this person is?
No, you're just going to tell whatever Lee's daughter tells us to do. We're going to place our bets. What do we care? What do we care? I'm glad. I don't want to know anything. Really, I don't. I don't want to screw this up. You know me, Mark. I can overanalyze a 3-car funeral. I don't want to know a thing.
Charlie Puth, am I saying that? I don't even know who that is. Is that bad on me or is that bad on them?
Well, it's obviously not bad on them. It's just everything they do seems to work for them. And it'll really be put to the test this halftime. But everything they do seems to work for them.
Okay. I mean, my big thing is this. Obviously, I'm watching the Super Bowl in the hospital, and they have a nutritionist that came to talk to me at what to eat. She said, you can get treats if you want some snacks. So the wife's coming up tomorrow. I'm hoping that the chips and dip are coming with her because that's what I want. I want to sit in my hospital bed and eat chips and dip and make a mess. That's my goal on Sunday. No wings. Nope. Might be able to get pizza, but no wings. So chips and dips will be big for my snacking on Sunday. Miller and Moulton, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Today was the day when and what's on tap. All 25 minutes away. Thanks so much for listening. Miller and Moulton.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. Capecops.com. Be brave, be best. Be Cape.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
This is Miller and Moulton.
I don't like Jacksonville, and I don't know how you can bet FGCU with confidence. Outside of them playing Jacksonville, they own Jacksonville, and they beat Jacksonville, and they beat the worst team in the A-Sun the other day. So, you know, I don't know how you can. I don't know how you can take FGCU with any confidence. And they're terrible. I mean, I will say they're playing the bottom of the conference right now. You know, they beat North Alabama. They own Jacksonville, and they beat them. They're playing Eastern Kentucky, who's second or third worst team in the conference. And FGC is 3-7 on the road. Bet them at your peril.
Supposed to do it every hour 10 times. They didn't bring it to me till yesterday, so it's just another one of my fun things to do. When I get to smoke weed again, I'm going to be able to do the best bong rip ever after this.
No doubt. No doubt.
Every one of them, Paula. Every one of them. That they have to do two things, which I mentioned the one yesterday that I won't again. But they also have to like swab my nose with iodine. And they're like, you can do it yourself. I'm like, no, you guys get paid to do this. You're experts. Yeah. I'm not screwing anything up. Yeah, you're here to do all of this. You tell me what to do and I do it.
Yeah, this ain't the self-checkout aisle.
You got that right, man.
Yeah, no. No.
There is not one damn thing that, no, you do it.
No.
And I don't say it like that, but that's like, no. You guys are the experts. You tell me what to do. I listen. And Paula, you'd be happy. Now, you know, they could just be saying it, but my nurses all love me because I have a very good attitude and I'm very nice to them. And it was funny. The physical therapist said some people get pretty angry with that. I'm like, I just don't know how. I get the not feeling good about yourself, but I just don't get the taking it out on the people that are actually here to help you. Yeah, I've got one nurse I want to set up with Trent, Paula. She's from Wisconsin, and she's a Packers fan. And then I have one that I want to set up with my son because she was the one that wanted to watch the goalie fight, and she's a huge Lightning fan. Because someone texted, am I smitten with the nurses? I'm too old to be smitten with the nurses. They're kids.
Creepy old guy.
You got that right.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Lee Sterling on the show, 7 a.m. tomorrow, to let us know whether you go over or under on the anthem. His daughter's 10-0-1 on that bet over the last 11 Super Bowls. Would have been 11-0 if Reba hadn't doubled down at the end last year. And Pat Kerwin, live from the Super Bowl city at 8 a.m. tomorrow here on Miller and Moulton.
By the way, Rick doing the producing this week, Roger doing the producing next week. They're kind of going back and forth. But Raj listening this morning after I said, who the hell is this Charlie Puth that's singing the anthem? And Raj's a big music guy, a little more hip, even though he's, older like us, but he's more into the whole music scene. Said he does a song, See You Again, with Wiz Khalifa, has another couple crappy minor pop hits.
And that's our scouting report.
That's our scout. And this guy's doing the anthem. Okay.
I had never heard of him either. I never heard. Wouldn't even recognize the name. So,
and that's where I was. I didn't even know the name. I mean, that just surprised. I mean, I don't know. You would think that there would be bigger pop stars out there.
Don't pay any money. They don't pay a dime for any of their entertainment.
I got you.
To me, if you're a bigger name, don't you only do it if you're touring or you're releasing some new music? Otherwise,
or if you can actually sing, David, because I don't know how well pop stars today sing. I mean, are there voices out there like Whitney? There's a couple other anthems since then that have been spectacular that they've actually released. So,
you know who they should get? The Bears guy, who does the anthem kind of similarly to, remember the old Bruins guy?
Okay.
Loved
him. Loved the hair.
Let me tell you, if you ever go to a Bears game, be ready for the anthem. It's amazing.
That's fantastic too. That's fantastic because when I think of the anthem in Chicago, I go back to the stadium and the hockey.
Right.
And the guy singing it and the organ and the fans going nuts.
Oh.
So it's kind of cool to see that there are two distinct great anthems in one city, and a great sports city at that.
A great sports city, loud, deep, and just not a single note that isn't at 100+%. It's the most intense anthem I've ever heard. And when you're done, okay, you do want to line up and hit somebody. Okay. And you're hoping like it is the Olympics and it's somebody wearing a foreign nation's jersey. It's not Gavin McKenna, out having dinner with his mom, but you really want to see, okay, somebody in an opposing jersey. Okay. And you want to flatten him. He's amazing. Awesome.
So we'll have our over-under, and we'll have Pat Kerwin on the show tomorrow, who's been out in Santa Clara all week. Obviously, with the time difference, tough to get Pat on twice, and I may have screwed that up because I let Pat off the hook. I gave him the out on Tuesday. He pulled good cop, bad cop with us. He really did. David had him, and then I played good cop. And I didn't guilt him. I really didn't guilt him, and I thought I could have. Because Pat doesn't miss shows. And with me doing the show, he even sent a nice text to me. Love to see that you're doing the show. And I'm like, nice. I should have said nice to see if you can make it on Tuesday in your subscribed time. But I didn't do that. But we've got our poll question up. It's about Gavin McKenna, who is expected to be the number 1 overall pick in the upcoming NHL draft. He punched a heckler that called his mother a whore in a restaurant. If you were drafting, would it affect you drafting him? Right now, it would not affect 91% of you.
Jim Cornelison. He does Bears and Blackhawks. It's another reason we got to get the Blackhawks good again. Best unis, okay, great hockey city, and we need Chicago to play like Toronto in a playoff series so we can get both anthems from Jim Cornelison.
That would be nice. That would be nice. I already see the fix in, though. Your Rangers are going to trade a couple more players. They're going to get the first overall pick because they want McKenna in New York.
I don't know. I think the NHL could look at the Rangers and go, in the last 7 years, we gave you a first overall pick and a second overall pick, and you screwed them both up. Can't do much more for you than that, boys. You have to wait your turn. We got a few other franchises to take care of. You screwed that up.
I have to say, we've talked more NBA today than we have since the NBA Finals.
Yes.
I mean, and not close, and probably more than we talked throughout the entire NBA Finals. Really and truly. Right. They've done a great PR job by putting their trade deadline where they have put it. They truly have. And this is Super Bowl week. And I don't think we're alone. You mentioned earlier, you did a couple of guest spots. People are not talking the Super Bowl.
No.
This 2-week thing doesn't work for most of us. It works for the league. They have their reasons why they do it. They've got their, the awards tonight. We're going to get the Hall of Fame players. But I do think all of the leaking of the Eli, Belichick, Kraft not getting in, I guess it's helped because it's pushed the narrative for the league, even though they don't really want that.
Curious how many of you will watch NFL Honors tonight. I think it's 9 to 11. I mean, it's when you find out who makes the Hall of Fame. I think it's when you find out that Matthew Stafford's won MVP, who wins the Walter Payton Man of the Year award. And it's only 2 hours, I believe, not 3. Don't know if it's worth your time.
I don't know. Last night of hockey for me. I'll probably watch some pucks.
I don't blame you.
That's going to be hard, because the Olympics going to be done by early afternoon. So live sports for me is going to be out for a couple of weeks.
The only good thing is that your hockey will be live from like when this show ends till right before dinner. Okay. I mean, obviously your recovery and everything, we know it's far more important. Don't know,
Than curling and hockey? I'm not sure, David.
That's true. You make a dadgum good point. That is true. Okay.
Speaking of which, U.S. up 5-2 in mixed doubles curling, early going of their second match of the day. They stole one from Norway early this morning, just before we came on the air.
Who are we beating right now?
We are taking on Switzerland. We are up 5-2. And I don't know what end we're in. I can't see it.
I can't wait to see the staff on your floor when they realize how you are about curling. All right.
Maybe it's all ladies. I don't know if any of the nurses will be in. Not many men. I don't see many men during the day. A couple of them, mostly ladies. They might like the curling, David.
Yeah, they might. Okay. I'll tell you what, they know they can come to your room and steal a few minutes and just hang out.
Absolutely. They work hard. They do a great job.
Yeah.
I've been very impressed. And I knew I would be. My mom was here 12 years ago, and everything worked out fantastically for her. She's 81, still going strong. Cannot say enough good things about Moffitt. I just hope that the Executive Leadership Council and the marketing department understands that when I try to get a hold of them later today.
Yes. Come on, guys. I mean, seriously? I mean,
have his profile up on the computer right now. Not joking.
Have a little something for the effort. I mean, come on, boys. I mean, don't make us get a competitor. Don't make us do it because we'll cash anybody's check. Okay. So don't make us do it. We want to cash yours. But
absolutely.
We will cash your competitors. All right. I mean, trust me, there's enough people with cancer. We can come up with a heartwarming story with someone with one of our competitors too. So just keep it in mind. Consider it. Proposal should be on your desk sometime next week.
Did find out though yesterday in going through my discharge, no golf for 6 months. They're not allowing me on a course. Me and the doctor are going to have a long talk about this, David. A long talk.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Get ready, Southwest Florida. The Southwest Florida Ag Expo is back. Now's the time to save big with the Mega Pass, your all-in-one ticket to the fun, one low price. Get your one-day admission and unlimited midway rides. Mega Passes available online through February 26th at swflagexpo.com. Don't wait. Grab yours. Get ready for roots, rides, and real fun. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
Got a cracked window or foggy glass? Don't wait for the next storm to make it worse. Your local glass doctor, Home and Business, is just down the road and ready to help. From leaky frames to shattered panes, we've got the tools and the know-how to get your home or business storm ready. With flexible scheduling and our done right promise, you'll be in good hands. So before or after the weather hits, call your neighbors at Glass Doctor.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor. We fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
This is Miller and Moulton.
There's other, like, I can't grill when I get out because they don't want me inhaling because my immune system's so compromised. I can't, like, use the smoker or the grill. Gonna have to teach the daughter how to do it. I've got Keith Mitchell on my team. I did not take Damon. He was in my B group. He's got good numbers for this course, I guess. I think it's more of the grass and the pest. Oh, yeah, of course, stay away from crowds. I get that. But I think it's more of the grass, the dirt, because I can't garden. Like, they don't want me to even garden. I mean, it was... I mean, there's a lot. I mean, I got the hunting and fishing because of like raw meat and shit like that, but I I was not expecting the no golf when I went through my discharge class yesterday. Lots of rules, Paula. Lots of rules. Probably no alcohol for the entire 2026 calendar year. That's what Deadstroke, I was thinking the same thing, the pesticides and things like that. Might be the case. I'm going to ask, Michael. There's no doubt. I just can't wait when the line comes out of my chest and take a real shower, because showers used to be enjoyable, and now showers are just miserable.
By the way, my X site says I'm following no one. How could that be?
I don't know. Maybe you're having a Seth issue.
Well, I do think there's that. I've had a couple of.
I'm not. I'm following 671 people, which I've cut way back.
Well, I was only following like 150, but still.
No drinking, Go Raiders. It's pretty specific on that. The doctor told me that before. I haven't had a drink since early December. So.
Welcome to the bonus hour, brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It's the home stretch on this Thursday. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X, Lee Sterling, Pat Kerwin, at the very least, on the show tomorrow. Mark scheduled to join us tomorrow once again. The bone marrow transplant is dinner early evening, and then obviously, the next few weeks after that will be very much up in the air. But Mark gutting out this week, so he wasn't bored completely out of his mind, only mostly out of his mind.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. So, there you go. So we'll have Mark along with Rick Church and yours truly tomorrow.
It's that time again, nearing the end, but not quite there yet. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
We start today in 1901. The first loop-the-loop roller coaster opens in Coney Island. That seems like ahead of schedule, 1901 for a loop-de-loop roller coaster.
I agree.
1919. United Artists Hollywood Studio is founded by Charlie Chaplin and 3 others. Today in 21, the Yankees purchased 20 acres in the Bronx. They build this little thing called Yankee Stadium. First Reader's Digest magazine published today in 1922. I thought this was an interesting boxing tidbit, David. Today in 43, Jake LaMotta defeats Sugar Ray Robinson on points in Detroit. It was their second of 6 meetings, and it was the only time LaMotta won in the rivalry.
Huh.
Robinson's first loss in 40 pro bouts. Captain America, I guess a serial film, premiered today in 1944. First appearance of a Marvel superhero outside of a comic book. Today in 48, 18-year-old Dick Button became the first American men's figure skating gold medalist. He would retain the title in 52. Peter Pan opened in theaters in New York City, the animated film, in 1953. The Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour premiered on CBS today in 67. Most people say it was way, way, way ahead of its time.
Might be ahead of its time now.
There's no doubt. 2 little 6 things that happened in 1969. 1, Vince Lombardi becomes part owner, vice president, general manager, and head coach of the Washington Redskins. Think they offered him the house for the job?
As well they should have.
Absolutely. And one other one that I'd never heard of, David, and I don't know if you did either. Today in 69, it was considered a colossal TV flop. Tim Conway had an edgy sketch comedy show called Turn On. It bombed so badly that one Ohio station pulls it after 10 minutes on the air, preferring a blank screen to its rapid-fire, risque humor. A second episode never aired.
Oh, my goodness. One and done?
One and done. Tim Conway. Sugar Ray Leonard made his professional debut today in 77, a 6-round unanimous decision over Luis Vega at the Baltimore Civic Center.
Hello.
Today in 83, we went from Australia to Africa, David. Down Under, taken off the charts as number 1 in America for Toto's Africa.
Oh, boy.
88, the first primetime network televised wrestling match in 30 years. Andre the Giant defeats the Hulkster. Kareem becomes the first to score 38,000 points today in 89. Today in 90, Notre Dame becomes the first team to sell its games to a major network when NBC purchased the rights to Notre Dame football. 91, the Big East Football Conference forms. 2026, we wish it would come back. 2006, at Ford Field in Detroit, my wife was there. The Steelers beat the Seahawks. Hines Ward, your MVP. Most people remember that there wasn't a holding penalty called on Pittsburgh the entire game.
Was there a penalty called on them? Because there sure were enough called on Seattle.
There were, David. They were. 2012, the Giants beat the Patriots 21-17 at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. It was also the most watched halftime show. That's Madonna and others, but 118 million views during halftime, making it the most watched television event in history. 2017, the comeback. Patriots defeat the Falcons 34-28.
I heard they were down 28-3 in that game. Is that true?
I believe it is, David. 2023, Beyonce breaks the record, winning her 32nd Grammy. 2024, Taylor Swift wins a record 4th best album with her album Midnights. And also in 2024, we lost Toby Keith at the age of 62. Hank Aaron would have celebrated a birthday today. He would have also been the same age as one Don Cherry, who turns 92 today. Needs to be in the Hall of Fame.
No doubt. And there's no real push to do it. And it's disgusting. It really is. I can't believe, by the way, of all the sports and of all the countries to have turned on a guy. I'm serious. I think it's disgraceful, the treatment of Don Cherry in the last 5 years.
You know, I read Connor McDavid's little post that he gave. I don't know if it was on the Players Union, but he talked about watching Hockey Night in Canada with his dad sitting on the floor, he and his brother on the couch, and watching Don Cherry.
Yeah. Uh-huh. By the way, wouldn't you love to just have a few minutes of Don Cherry talking about this Gavin McKenna thing?
I could do an hour on the show, David. An hour. Roger Staubach's 84. Craig Morton is 83. DW, Darryl Waltrip, 79. Christopher Guest, I guess these go to 11, is 78. Duff McKagan from Guns N' Roses is 62. Jose Maria Olazabal is 60. Roberto Alomar, 58. Singer Bobby Brown, 57. Cristiano Ronaldo is 41. Another soccer star, Neymar, 34. And Cam Scatterboos, 26. It's an old young player in the league, if you know what I mean.
I was going to say, 26-year-old guy just finished his rookie year.
Right. What'd I miss, David?
You didn't miss anything. I did just want to go back to that Steelers Seahawks Super Bowl.
Okay.
Ben Roethlisberger, I don't know if this is even in dispute. Will there ever be a quarterback have a worse game on the winning Super Bowl team? Listen, he was amazing in his next 2 Super Bowls. Obviously, the game-winning drive, in the Super Bowl 43, the whole deal. He's a Hall of Famer. He is. Please tell me he's going to walk in the first time he's eligible. He was 9 for 21 with 2 interceptions. 9 for 21.
Wasn't the big pass from Antoine Randall L in that game?
Correct. Antoine Randall L with the 43-yard touchdown to Hines Ward. And then Willie Parker, untouched, a 75-yard touchdown run. He only had 18 additional yards in the game. I mean, seriously, the Steelers were 2 plays and opportunistic defense. And yeah, they had a few calls. By the way, penalties were 7-3.
So there weren't that many.
No.
Period.
No, but remember, Seattle scored a touchdown. It was taken off the board. And there was a interference call that set the Steelers up very nicely.
And there were a few holding calls that were not made in that game.
Yeah, there definitely was. But, I mean, it's amazing. Roethlisberger was terrible. They committed more turnovers than the Seahawks. All right. The Seahawks outgained them by 60 yards, ran 20 more plays. I mean, it's as good a ham and egg Super Bowl win as there's ever been, what the Steelers did to the Seahawks.
Time to see life a little bit differently. Here's Mark Miller with the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
We start today in Florida, where FWC announced that over 5,000 invasive green iguanas were removed during the recent cold spell. Shame on you, Fort Myers. I think you came in last, but the most were at the Sunrise Drop-Off Center, where over 3,800 iguanas were removed. I did see posts from people defending iguanas. I'm not on your side. I'm not even close to on your side. Just want to let you know. Damn the iguana.
Damn the iguana.
They're an invasive. Damn the iguana. I want a Mexican radio. I want a Mexican radio, David, cooking up some barbecued iguana. That's all they're good for. I'd eat it. Would you try iguana?
Sure.
For the bad, the cold weather sparking fish kills. I haven't heard a lot about snook, which is a good thing, but apparently all over the beaches in Sanibel, people were stunned from Marco Island to Sanibel at the amount of killed marine creatures here in the past few weeks during the cold snap. And yes, I would try iguana. Barbecued, please. Finally, the ugly. We'll come back to Cape Coral. Well, that's where it ended. Started in North Fort Myers, ended in Cape Coral, where 2 teenagers now have a good record. Robert Sanchez and Joshua Olivares were arrested after a chase from breaking into a smoke shop in North Fort Myers in a car that they stole, broke into the smoke shop to steal a few $100s worth of accessories, and then led police on a chase that resulted in a pit maneuver and a canine apprehension. The 16 and 17-year-old were apprehended. You're both idiots. And that is the good, the bad, and the ugly. On today, February the 5th, brought to you by the Cape Coral Police Department, hiring new officers, offering great pay, great benefits, overtime opportunities, plus other jobs are available. For all information, capecops.com. That's capecops.com.
College hoop tonight. There's only one game involving a ranked team. It's Michigan, number 2 in the country. Big week for them last week. They beat Nebraska and Michigan State, a couple of top 10 wins. All right. Last night, 22.5-point underdog Portland was home. They upset Gonzaga. Penn State's a bigger underdog at Michigan. They're getting 24.5. 6:30 tonight on FS1, Mark. There you go. 6:30 FS1. NBA, 8 games. Orlando in action. They're hosting Brooklyn. NHL 7 games. I know what you'll be watching. Panthers Lightning.
Damn right.
Panthers Lightning. One of the 7 games on tap. Absolute must for Florida, man. Somebody has it figured out that as of right now, it's going to take 100 points to make the playoffs in the East. Now, I think that's a couple points too high, but it's usually somewhere between 94 and 98. That means the Panthers heading into the Bruins game, Mark, needed to go 20-6-1. Well, they got one of the 20. So they have, I think, 26 games left. Okay. And basically it's like, yeah, they need 40 points if they're going to make the playoffs. That can't leave a lot of points on the thing.
No, and it's why, last night they had a 4-2 lead heading into the third. I said, Not only do they need to win, but they needed to win clean. They had the opportunity and didn't do it.
Nope.
Because you're right. It might not be 100 points, David, but it's going to be 95, 96.
Easy. Big night in the A-Sun. All the Florida schools on the road. FGCU's at Eastern Kentucky. EKU's terrible this year, and FGCU's still an underdog on the road. Jacksonville's at Queens. Queens, one of the 2 best teams in the league. Well, 4 best teams in the league. And North Florida at West Georgia. So if you want to bet A-Sun basketball, you're getting points in all 3. FGCU's won 2 in a row. Let's see if they can keep it going.
7-3 U.S. in the curling. Just to keep you updated. Waste Management today.
Yeah.
Little golf to watch. So there's sports. And the Olympics are about to get going. There's been some women's hockey already this morning. The mixed doubles curling going on. Opening ceremonies tomorrow. Hockey doesn't start on the men's side for about a week.
By the way, if you're interested, I think there's LIV golf on FS1.
Yeah, I'm not.
Okay. Just saying.
I'm really not.
Yeah.
I've never watched more than a couple of minutes of it, and it's never done anything for me.
Fair enough. But I just know you're stuck in a cancer ward in a room looking for stuff to watch.
Omelets on the way, David. Omelets on the way. Good times ahead.
I have to admit, it's very bad for LIV if you can't get a huge golf fan to watch your product when he's on a cancer ward with nothing else to watch.
Think we only fix windows? Think again. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business does so much more to upgrade your home. We custom build stunning shower and bath enclosures, install sleek glass doors and windows, and can bring fresh life to foggy or cracked panes. Need a glass tabletop or a statement mirror? Yep, we do that too.
Oh, thank you.
Glass, and it's in your home. We're the team to call.
Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh yeah.
Hey, football fans, Jimmy the Beef Guy here. This is coming up fast. Wait, did you just beat me? You mean I can't say soup? Whatever. So, guys, if you're having a football party, don't wait till last minute. Remember, guys, our beef packages come with the beef, the gravy, the bread, the peppers. All you have to do is heat and serve. So call me now or stop in one of our 2 locations in Bonita Springs or Fort Myers. And again, guys, please don't wait till last minute, man. Put your orders in now.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
At the Diamond District, we've built our inventory since day one.
We never pass on beautiful jewelry. For years, we've chosen exceptional diamonds and fine jewelry.
And when you buy with love for 2 decades,
your vault fills with extraordinary jewelry. That's why we're emptying the vault now through Valentine's Day. Enjoy rare pricing on jewelry chosen to celebrate love, connection, and commitment.
Will you be mine? Starts with diamonds from the Diamond District. Hablamos Español.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 13325.
This is Miller and Moulton